Well, it's 2:30 in the PM, the 16th day of April, the year 2025. 2:30 is the time allocated for the plenary sitting of the Senate proceedings. A broadcast that is streaming live from the Senate chambers, Parliament buildings in Nairobi. And this is a live broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. A warm welcome to you, and we are glad that you have joined us for these proceedings on this afternoon sitting. What you are seeing on your screens right now, that is the Senate chambers. Members are now making their way inside to get ready for the business that is lined up for consideration this afternoon. And also in a short while, we shall be seeing the procession of the Speaker also making its way into the chambers for the House to commence its business. Talking about the business that they will be transacting this afternoon is that the Division of Revenue Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, a bill also that concerns counties, will be coming up for first reading at the Senate this afternoon. A bill that is sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader, Honorable Aaron Cheriot. First reading of the bill before it proceeds to the next stage, that is public participation as well as committee consideration. This is a bill that seeks to provide for the equitable division of revenue nationally among the national and county governments as required by Article 218 of the Constitution in order to facilitate the proper functioning of the governments. That is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi, making his way into the chambers. He will be presiding over this afternoon sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, tukusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tukuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote atakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Haki na uaminifu ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, as indicated by the clerk and as directed by the Speaker, the quorum bell is currently on. That means the House has not quorated yet. At least 15 senators should be or shall be in the chambers after the prayer is said and the chair taken for the House to be deemed to have quorated. If that is not present, then that quorum bell will be on for the members to make their way into the chambers. As you can see, that is the Majority Leader counting the members inside the House, at least to see the deficit that they have, or rather the numbers that are present currently. And of course, to check whether how many members are expected to at least walk in for the House to correct and for the business to commence. Once that quorum is achieved, then the Speaker will be alerted and he will call the House to order for the House to commence its business Senator Oburu there. We've seen him just walked into the chambers also. However, with regards to the business that they will be transacting the Division of Revenue Bill coming up for first reading this afternoon. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 53.1, there are a number of statements that senators will be seeking from various standing committees. And with regards to this particular standing order, the Senator for Samburu County, Senator Dr. Lelegwe Ltumbesi, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. This is with regards to the status of projects funded through the Equalization Fund disbursed during the financial year 2022-2023 in Samburu County. Members are making their way into the chambers. I believe in a short while that quorum will be achieved, or probably we have already achieved that quorum. So I will be looking out for any signals that will be indicating that the quorum has been achieved, and hand this business back to the House for your following. The nominated Senator, Honorable Esther Kenyuri, will seek a statement this afternoon from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare regarding the establishment of shelters and safe places or spaces for homeless children, as well as vulnerable mothers in major cities and urban centers across the country. The Senator for Wajir County, Honorable Abbas Sheikh Mohammed, will also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing. This is with regards to the commercialization and accessibility by the public of the Wajir Airport. If you're just joining us, that the House is about to commence its business. The House is just waiting for members to make their way into the chambers to enable it raise the required quorum, at least 15 senators. And from the look of things on the screens, the members may be close to getting to that number. In a short while, I believe that quorum will be achieved, and we will hand this business back to the House. Nominated Senator Tabitha Mutinda will this afternoon also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism regarding financial crisis at the Metropolitan National Circle Limited. And the Senator for Trans Nzoia County, Senator Alan Chesang, also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding the operationalization of the Nawiri Fund by the Trans Nzoia County government. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 52, Paragraph 1, the Senator for Marsabit County, Honorable Mohammed Shuta, will make a statement concerning the recognition. All right, the quorum has been achieved. Allow me to hand you over back to the business.
Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Senator Kenya, take your seat. I've got us some communication to make. Now, honorable senators would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, a visiting delegation of members of the Speaker's panel of the County Assembly of Turkana. The delegation is undertaking a benchmarking visit with their counterparts in the Senate. Now, honorable senators, I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. The Right Honorable Charles Lokioto Ewoye, Speaker of the County Assembly of Turkana. The Honorable Michael Ewoye, a member of the panel. The Honorable Mary Nakapwan, member of the panel. the Honorable Samuel Aliwo, a member of the panel, Mr. Lokawa L. Miyan, a clerk of the County Assembly, Mr. Patrick Tioko Engori, Director, Legislative Services, Mr. James Ikimat, Director, Speaker's Office, Mr. James Sate, Chief Sergeant at Arms, Mrs. Catherine Erang, Deputy Director, Legislative Services, Ms. Edna Eripete, Principal Clerk, Table Office, Ms. Cynthia Moru, Principal Clerk, Table Office, and Mr. Calvin Ewoy, Principal Clerk. The delegation is accompanied by Mr. Philip Ogonda, Program Officer, Refugee Consortium of Kenya, and also Ms. Gloria Mwangi, Program Officer, Refugee Consortium of Kenya. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome and wish you a fruitful visit. Honorable Mungatana, you may take your seat before I make the second communication. Again, Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, students from Starehe Boys Center and School and Alliance High School who are undertaking a one-week voluntary service scheme in the Senate. Honorable Senators, I request each student to stand when called out so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Henrik Jaden, Starehe Boys, Form 3. Ian Kiprotich, Starehe Boys, Form 3. Obed Omanyi, Starehe Boys Center, Form 3. Newton Ogwethi, Starehe Boys, Form 3. Moses Kilemi, Starehe Boys Center, Form 2. Elvis Mayan, Starehe Boys Center, Form 2. Chris Mutwiri Murithi, Alliance High School, Form 4. Ryan Dailan, Alliance High School, Form 3. Terrell Jones, Alliance High School, Form 3. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate, and my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will call upon the Majority Leader to extend a word of welcome to welcome the delegation from Turkana County, and the 1 minute, and thereafter, who are these old boys? I have one old boy from Alliance High School, the Honorable Mungatana, and the 1 minute, you will extend a word of welcome to welcome the students from Alliance High School, and Senator Onyonka, you will. It does not matter. Have your seat. Just take your seat. Take your seat, Honorable Onyonka. Take your seat. Just take your seat, Honorable Onyonka. So Senator Onyonka will extend a word of welcome to welcome the students from Starehe Boys Center.
Mr. Speaker, when you go to school in St. Mary's Yala, you sound the way I sound. After that, when you go to the University of Nairobi with impeccable grades, because you went to Yala, the only people we disliked were Alliance High School, because they were better than us. And Mr. Speaker, I am very, very proud of my son who goes to Alliance now, Form 2. I want to encourage the students who have come from Alliance High School and the students who have come from Starehe. I believe that the history and the culture of both the institutions are highly regarded and highly respected. I hope, Mr. Speaker, that the students will have an opportunity to engage and listen to what the debate is. They'll see how the Speaker behaves and how we, who are the elected members of the Kenyan community, behave. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I want to also welcome the team from Turkana. When we visited the county, Mr. Speaker, about 3 weeks ago, the county assembly was complete. They had already set up the Hansard machines, and they were just sorting out the air conditioning system. The furniture was in place. So I want to say that these are champions of devolution, and thank you very much. Keep doing the good work. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mgatana.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join you in welcoming the students from Alliance High School, the Alliance High School. Mr. Speaker, I interacted with some of the students when they came to our committee. I'm glad one of them is the house captain of Grieve House, which was our neighbor, because in those days I also served as house captain of Arthur House. Mr. Speaker, the Alliance High School has produced many, many great people. In fact, the first cabinet of the Republic of Kenya was populated by students or old boys from that school. And Mr. Speaker, we have maintained that tradition of taking leadership in this Republic of Kenya. I am very, very proud that that tradition has been maintained. Mr. Speaker, proudly, even in this Senate, our Speaker himself is a product of the Alliance High School. So I want to encourage the students who have come from there today that it is possible, it can be done. You can excel in business, in your profession, in politics, in leadership, in religion. Just keep working hard, and may God bless you as you continue in your journey. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I can't hear myself speaking. I don't know why there's a lot of excitement in the House. But if you follow the principles that sons are better than fathers, then I am a more refined product than Alliance, because my own father went to Alliance. So that means I am even better than Alliance. Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues this afternoon to welcome the students from Starehe and Alliance High School, two very distinct and excellent institutions that have produced some of Kenya's finest gentlemen who are here on a study tour to interact with our staff and members of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, to learn and be molded into the gallant men that you all expect them to be, so that when they take on the role of leadership in this country at the various spheres of life, they will do greater than the present generation. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is to appreciate the County Assembly of Turkana. They hosted us very, very well, Mr. Speaker, when we visited Turkana, and we had promised to revenge. I hope the revenge, quote unquote, Mr. Speaker, from the Senate side has been worth the while, because it's taken a long time before their staff have joined us, Mr. Speaker. I hope that they have interacted and met all the people that they need to meet, Mr. Speaker, because we appreciate the partnership that exists between county assemblies and the Senate, Mr. Speaker. As the anchors of devolution and the institutions charged with oversight, I'll ask of them that they focus their attention in making sure that devolution, which is under tremendous threat, Mr. Speaker, from corruption in this day and age, Mr. Speaker, that it doesn't thrive in their county under their watch. There were reports last week about the things that are happening in Turkana that anybody that loves devolution, Mr. Speaker, will be concerned about. I hope the county assembly is doing something about it, and eventually, Mr. Speaker, when those reports get to the Senate, should any of the listed people be found culpable, Mr. Speaker, this House will do justice to the people of Turkana. I'm only saddened, Mr. Speaker, since their former Speaker was a very good friend of mine. We served with him in this House as members for the last 2 terms. Unfortunately, they seem to have fallen out to the Assembly and he's now out. But nonetheless, that is the power of democracy. I wish the new Speaker, who's part of the delegation, well. May he serve to the great goodness of the people of Turkana. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46.3 and 4.4, I received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage by the National Assembly of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025. The message, which is dated Monday, 14th April 2025, was received in the office of the Clerk of the Senate the same date. And pursuant to the said standing order, I now report the message. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41.1 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025, was published via Kenya Gazette Supplement number 38 of the 12th of March 2025 to provide for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county governments in the 2025-2026 financial year, and whereas the National Assembly considered the said bill and passed it without amendments on Wednesday the 9th of April 2025 in the form attached hereto, now therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution and Standing Orders 41 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby refer the bill to the Senate for consideration. Now, Honourable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order number 163, which requires that a bill which originates in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the same manner as a bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading, in accordance with Standing Order number 144. Honourable Senators, as you may have noted, the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025, has been listed in today's order paper, and at the appropriate time during this sitting, I will direct the clerk to read the bill a first time. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Senator for Nairobi, the Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. This is a petition to the Senate of the Republic of Kenya regarding the eviction of Korogosho community living in the Nairobi River corridor after its declaration as a special planning area. Honourable Speaker, we, the undersigned, on behalf of the Korogosho community in Ruaraka constituency, being peace-loving and law-abiding citizens of the Republic of Kenya, and in exercise of our right under Article 119 of the Constitution of Kenya, which grants every person the right to petition Parliament on any matter within its authority, do hereby humbly submit this petition to the Senate of the Republic of Kenya for consideration. That whereas the Korogosho Community Forum is a community-based organization operating within Korogosho location, Ruaraka constituency, Nairobi County, this petition is submitted to the Senate for consideration of the following grievances and requests. That on the 5th of March 2025, the Nairobi City County issued a notice in the local dailies declaring the Nairobi River corridor as a special planning area. This corridor spans the area along Nairobi River from Naivasha Road to Ruai, including the tributaries of the river. The notice declared that the corridor extends 60 meters beyond the high water mark on either side of the river, 30 meters riparian corridor, and an additional 30 meters development area. That the purpose of this petition is to draw the attention of the Senate to several grievances and concerns raised by the residents of Korogosho regarding the ongoing and planned activities related to the Nairobi River Corridor as declared as a special planning area by the County Executive Committee of Nairobi City County. The following issues are brought forth for consideration by this House. Number one, Honorable Speaker, lack of adequate notice and/or public participation. The public notice for the declaration of the Nairobi River Corridor as a special planning area by the CEC, Nairobi City County, dated 6th March 2025, was communicated to the community representatives after the expiry of the 14-day notice period. Consequently, the community was unable to submit their opinions and memoranda on this matter. The reasons for the delay can only be known to the local leadership, including the local chiefs and other leaders. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, unfair eviction criteria and intimidation. The planning and eviction process for those affected along the Nairobi River Corridor has been marked by intimidation. Despite several attempts to engage the county and national governments, no improvement has been made to ensure a fair process. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, lack of representation in decision-making. The community residents have not been adequately represented in the decision-making processes regarding the planning and eviction exercises. Public participation has not been conducted in any meaningful or inclusive manner. Fourth, unresolved compensation issues. Residents who were evicted during an early eviction phase last year from the alleged riparian and land remain uncompensated. To date, no clear communication has been made concerning their fate or any compensation plans. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, a lack of commitment to compensate affected persons. The recent notice by the county government of Nairobi, dated 6th March 2025, did not outline any commitment or plan by the government to compensate those who will be affected by the impending eviction. Many of these residents are structure owners who have resided in the area their entire lives and have no other place to call home. That whereas we, the undersigned, have pursued all possible means of resolution, including seeking audience with the governor, Nairobi City County, the county executive responsible, and the County Assembly of Nairobi, all these efforts have been in vain. We therefore have been left with no option but to petition the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. We also confirm that this issue is not pending anywhere in any court of law or constitutional or legal body in the country. And whereas we, the undersigned, on behalf of Korogosho community affected by the evictions, aver that number one, the Senate of the Republic of Kenya has the power and authority as well as the moral obligation to step in and save the poor residents of Korogosho from inhuman evictions without compensation. Number two, the Nairobi City County and the national government have shown unwillingness to listen to the grievances of the residents. Therefore, we, the undersigned, humble petitioners, pray that the Senate inquires into the matter and makes recommendations as follows. Number one, on compensation to those already evicted and those who will be affected by future evictions, while ensuring that any evictions are humane in nature. And secondly, on public participation necessary as required by the Constitution, and that community representatives are included in all decision-making processes involving the Nairobi River Corridor. We humbly submit this petition for your consideration and appropriate action. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, I commit the petition the petition that has just been read out by Senator for Nairobi to the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. Now, in terms of Standing Order 238-2A, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer, which is today, to table its report in the Senate for consideration. The Senate thereafter shall consider and adopt the report of the committee. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate. Today, Wednesday, the 16th of April, 2025. These are the Sustainable Waste Management Extended Producer Responsibility Amendment number 2 Regulations, Legal Notice number 62 of 2025. The Environment Management and Coordination Water Quality Amendment number 2 Regulations, Legal Notice number 63 of 2025. The Environment Management and Coordination Waste Management Amendment number 2 Regulations, Legal Notice number 64 of 2025. The Environment Management and Coordinating Sand Harvesting Amendment number 2 Regulations, Legal Notice number 65 of 2025. The Environment Management Coordination Air Quality Amendment number 2 Regulations, Legal Notice number 66 of 2025. The Environment Management and Coordination Deposit Bonds Amendment Regulation, Legal Notice number 67 of 2025. Number 7, the Environment Management and Coordination Access to Biological Resources and Benefits Sharing, number 2 Regulations, Legal Notice number 68. The Digital Health Information Management Procedures Regulations, Legal Notice number 76 of 2025. The Digital Health Data Exchange Component Regulations, Legal Notice number 77 of 2025. Finally, the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Homa Bay County Climate Change Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 52-1. Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My statement is on transition of leadership in the Kenya Women Senators Association, KEWASA. Mr. Speaker, sir, we, Senator Hamida Kibwana and Senator Maureen Tabitha Mutinda, the former chairperson and vice chairperson of the Kenya Women Senators Association, KEWASA, rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make a statement on the transition of leadership with KEWASA and to formally acknowledge the election of a new leadership team. We begin by expressing our heartfelt congratulations to the new elected chairperson, Senator Veronica Maina, and the vice chairperson, Senator Hezena Lemaletian, and the entire new leadership team of KEWASA. Their election is a testament of the confidence their peers have in the capacity to steer the critical association forward. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the outgoing leadership of KEWASA, it has been our singular honor and privilege to lead KEWASA during a season of purpose engagement, bold advocacy, and impactful service. During our tenure, we championed initiatives that placed the lived realities of women and girls at the heart of our legislative and policy agenda. Under our leadership, KEWASA undertook several key initiatives and achieved significant milestones, including launched a program to support women petty offenders, many of whom were held in remand facilities simply because they could not afford bail to fines. Through partnership with civil society and legal aid providers, we helped secure and release and reintegration of these women back into society with dignity. Mentored and worked alongside women leaders, particularly women members of county assemblies, MCAs, through leadership development forums and capacity building engagements to strengthen their leadership, oversight, and representation roles of the county level. Allocations ensuring that the voices of women, especially those at the grassroots who are considered in national debates around health, economic empowerment, and social justice. Build strong partnership.
Senator for Makueni and the Senator for Kilifi. Please take your seat and let the Honorable Senator Amida be heard in silence.
Build strong Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
build strong partnerships with local and international institutions, including the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, ACEPA, the International Research and Exchange Boards, IREX, and Center of Multi-Party Democracy, CMD, and the Kenya Red Cross, as with Tetra Tech International Development and the Royal United Services Institute for Defense and Security Studies through the Reducing Insecurity and Violence Extremism in the northern and coastal regions of Kenya program. Mr. Speaker, KEWOSA has established bilateral relations with parliaments and institutions in various countries, among them the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, Qatar, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Azerbaijan. These nations have expressed willingness to support KEWOSA in achieving its core objectives and in mobilizing resources for women leaders intending to vie for elections posts. Additionally, KEWOSA has forged strategic partnerships with organizations such as Eco Network Africa, which implements targeted interventions to support girls and women, with a special focus on young women, women with disabilities, and those from marginalized communities. Mr. Speaker, these collaborations have been instrumental in expanding the reach and impact of KEWOSA's programs and in enhancing gender-responsive governance across the country. They have also enabled KEWOSA to implement impactful capacity-building programs, community outreach initiatives, and cross-sectoral dialogues aimed at advancing gender equity and inclusive governance. Mr. Speaker, while we now serve in the capacities of Chairperson Emeritus and the Vice Chairperson Emeritus, our commitment to the ideals and aspirations of KEWOSA remains steadfast. We pledge to support KEWOSA's new leadership and to continue championing the cause of gender equality, women's empowerment, and inclusive governance. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The second statement under that particular standing order is by Senator Mohamed Chute, which statement is hereby dropped pursuant to a request by the said senator to have the statement dropped. Before I call the statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1, allow me to make the following communication. I'd like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and pupils from PCA, Emmanuel Child Development Center, Kibra, in Nairobi County. The delegation comprises 2 teachers and 43 pupils who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Now, honorable senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming guests to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate, on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will call upon the Senator for Nairobi County, and a 1 minute to extend a word of welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the House as well, let me take this opportunity to welcome the students from PCA Emmanuel Church in Kibra. This is an institution, Honorable Speaker, that has almost close to 300 students aged between 3 years and 22 years. And the center works in collaboration with an organization known as Compassion International to try and impart skills and develop talent of these young kids, so that they are able to be pulled from the extreme levels of poverty that is very prevalent in that area. So we are hoping that they will have opportunity to interact with members of Parliament. As their senator, I'm available for them, and to follow debate. I'm sure they have followed some of the things that have already been presented here. We want to tell you that it doesn't matter what your background is. You work hard in school and you will find yourself one day being the senator of Nairobi, standing here and representing the great county of Nairobi. So I wish them all the best in their tour, and we hope to see you out there after you're done with your tour. And if there's any other senator that you would want me to bring along, just let me know. I know the senators from Alliance are not the best role models in this house, but if there is anyone from from anywhere else that you want to meet, you can let me know and I'll make arrangements. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. Senator for Samburu County, Honorable Dr. Lelegwe.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance, Budget and on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the status of projects funded through Equalization Fund disbursed during financial year 2023-2024 in Samburu County. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the list of all projects funded through the Equalization Fund in Samburu County in financial year 2023-2024, indicating their respective budget allocations and implementation timelines. 2, the criteria used in identifying and selecting the projects and whether public participation was conducted pursuant to Article 232(1)(d) of the Constitution, including details of the participation exercises held and stakeholder involvement. 3, the current implementation status of each project, including percentage of completion, delays encountered, and specific challenges affecting execution, along with mitigation measures being undertaken. And 4, the disbursement structure of the funds, including the tranches released, any delays experienced, reasons for such delays, and the steps being taken to fast-track the disbursement and ensure uninterrupted project implementation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Essie Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a statement on the establishment of shelters and safe spaces for homeless children and vulnerable mothers. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding the establishment of shelters and safe spaces for homeless children and vulnerable mothers in major cities and urban centers across Kenya. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, whether the national government, in collaboration with county governments, has established well-equipped shelters and safe spaces in major cities and urban centers to provide temporary and transitional housing for homeless children and vulnerable mothers. 2, whether the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection has developed and implemented in partnership with the relevant stakeholders a comprehensive national policy framework for rehabilitation, reintegration, and empowerment of homeless children and vulnerable mothers. 3, whether county governments, through their social welfare and child protection departments, have identified rescue and holistic support services, including counseling, education, vocational training, and healthcare to street children and vulnerable mothers. 4, the adequacy of budgetary allocations made for the construction, staffing, and maintenance of these shelters to ensure sustainability and efficiency in service delivery. 5, whether a multi-agency approach exists to enhance collaboration between government agencies, civil society organizations, and development partners to strengthen interventions aimed at addressing the root causes of homelessness among children and mothers, and to facilitate their social and economic reintegration. Senator Okenyuri, MP. Thank you.
The Senator for Wajir County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transport, Housing on matter of national concern regarding the commercialization and accessibility by the public of Wajir Airport. Honorable Speaker, although Wajir Airport is designated for civilian use, it continues to operate primarily as a military base under strict control of the Kenya Defence Force, KDF. As a result, the general public encounters significant challenges in accessing the facility with restrictions that has severely limited the airport's potential to serve as a commercial hub for northern Kenya. The commercialization of Wajir Airport is vital for the economic growth of both Wajir and the wider Northern Kenya Airport. Honorable Speaker, Wajir Airport receives every day 2 or 3 passenger flights and several flights at transit from Somalia, especially those that carry Mira to Somalia. However, the continued military-centric management of the airport has become a bottleneck that demands urgent attention. Honorable Speaker, in the statement, the committee shall address the following: reasons why Wajir Airport remains under full military control, despite ongoing efforts to commercialize, thereby limiting civilian access to the service. Why the Kenya Airport Authority, KAA, does not have full operational control over the facility, particularly with regard to the management of passenger entry and exits, and why essential civilian infrastructures, such as public transport within and around the airport, is severely hampered. Reasons for reliance on a single bus operated by KAA for transporting passengers to and from the airport, a service that is grossly inadequate given the volume of users, as the public vehicles are prohibited from dropping off or picking up passengers at the airport, restriction that often leaves travelers stranded. Plans by the government to construct a civilian entrance, terminals and aprons independent from areas managed by the KDF in order to ease passenger movement and improve public accessibility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mtinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Committee of Trade, Industrialization and Tourism on a matter of national concern regarding the financial crisis of Metropolitan National Circle Limited. Mr. Speaker, the financial crisis at the Circle, which has been declared technically insolvent by the Commissioner for Cooperatives, has left over 75,000 members unable to access their hard-earned cash and savings. Mr. Speaker, this situation has been attributed to massive embezzlement and financial mismanagement at the Circle, including irregular lendings, fictitious dividend payments, and fraudulent loan disbursements to non-existent members. In this regard, I do request the committee to address the following. 1, the current financial status of Metropolitan National Circle Limited. 2, the annual audits on the financial statements of the Circle for the year 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, including 2024. And include the actions taken to address any advance opinions or audit queries that had been raised earlier. Number 3, the recovery plan in place for the Circle, including plans underway to ensure that members are able to access their savings and their benefits. To identify the identities of persons involved in the embezzlement and financial mismanagement at the Circle, including the actions that have been taken to ensure that they are held accountable. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, whether the Circle Society's regulatory authority, that is SASRA, played its role in ensuring compliance with established policies as well as the proposed reforms to strengthen financial oversight mechanisms for Circles so as to prevent similar instances in the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator from Trans Nzoia County, the Honorable Alan Chesang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the operationalization of the Nawiri Fund by the Trans Nzoia County, government. In the statement, the committee the committee should address the following. 1, the details of the operationalization of the Nawiri Fund, including the legal framework establishing it, regulatory compliance, its mandate and objectives, including whether public participation was conducted prior to its establishment, pursuant to Article 232(1)(d) of the Constitution. Number 2, the target beneficiaries and the criteria used in selecting the beneficiaries and the priority areas considered in the disbursement of the funds. And finally, number 3, the amounts of money disbursed so far and the schedule of the funds, indicating a list of all those who have benefited and the wards where the said beneficiaries rise in. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Senator for Kirinyaga County, the Honorable James Mrango. What's the issue, Senator Fernandi? Can you state your position, please?
Mr. Speaker, Senator Murango had requested me to read on his behalf.
Do you have any written authority in that regard?
No.
Then that statement...
Senator Kinyua was a witness.
That statement is dropped. The Senator for Nandi County, Senator Chirange, you may proceed to read your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for statement on contracting of private law firms by the county government of Nandi. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the contracting of private law firms to represent the county government of Nandi in court cases and in other legal proceedings. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the number and identities of all private law firms contracted to represent the county government of Nandi in court cases and in all other legal proceedings since September 2022, including the status of the respective cases and the amount of money paid to the concerned law firms in each case. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, sir, the processes followed by the county government of Nandi in contracting the law firms, including details in all the law firms that submitted bids in each case, the respective bids and the winning bids, Mr. Speaker, sir. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, the number of court cases and other legal proceedings handled by the Office of the County Attorney in Nandi County since September 2022 on the appointment and the justification for contracting private law firms to handle cases that could otherwise be handled by the Office of the County Attorney. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Raphael Chemero.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Lands, Environment and Natural Resources on a matter of nationwide concern regarding the delays in the processing of certificates of titles in land registries across the country. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, reasons for the current delays in the processing of land titles at the land registries countrywide. Number 2, shortage of necessary documents required for the processing of certificates of titles or title deeds. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, measures being implemented by the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development to resolve this issue, along with the timelines for restoring normal operations in land registries. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Kisumu County, the Honorable Professor Tom Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have two statements this afternoon. The first statement is on the state of sanitation in the rural areas of Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the state of sanitation in the rural areas of Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, access to improved sanitation facilities remains a significant challenge in Kisumu County and across the country, particularly in rural areas. According to a study published in the United States of America National Center for Biotechnology Information, NCBI, 50.8% of rural populations in Kenya use an improved sanitation, and another 13.9% practice open defecation. This situation poses serious health risks and requires urgent attention. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, I request the committee to address the following: the type and condition of sanitation facilities used by households in the rural areas of Kenya, with a focus of Kisumu County, including the level of household access to improved sanitation facilities. 2, the steps being taken by the county government of Kisumu to improve sanitation infrastructure and services in the rural areas of Kisumu County. 3, strategies put in place to enhance participation of local communities in planning and maintaining sanitation facilities and to ensure sustainability. And lastly, the budgetary allocation for sanitation projects in Kisumu County in the years 2024-2025, including whether allocation is adequate to address the existing challenges, particularly in the rural areas. Mr. Speaker, my second statement is on the pollution of Lake Victoria. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a matter of inter-county concern regarding the pollution of Lake Victoria and the associated health risks. Mr. Speaker, Lake Victoria is a crucial resource for millions of people in and out of Kenya, and is facing severe pollution from untreated sewage, industrial effluents, agricultural runoff, and plastic waste. This contamination of the lake poses significant environmental and health risks. In this statement, Mr. Speaker, I request the committee to address the following: 1, the pollution levels in Lake Victoria and the health risks associated with it. 2, the measures put in place to restore the lake and prevent further pollution, including the steps being taken to hold the polluters accountable. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for not more than 15 minutes. And therefore, if you get an opportunity to speak, kindly keep it under 3 minutes. The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have a quick comment on this statement by Senator for Trans Nzoia. I feel that as a House, Mr. Speaker, and perhaps a committee that will handle this matter needs to lead this House into making a decision on the number of funds a county government can create. There are counties that up to now, Mr. Speaker, have more than 100 funds or even 200, all in separate different bank accounts, that it makes it even practically impossible, Mr. Speaker, to keep tabs of what each of these funds is doing. And as a House, we must make a decision, Mr. Speaker, the justification that needs to exist before a county government, Mr. Speaker, can create a fund. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, you run the risk of county governments actually creating funds for every 10 million shillings for the billions that we send to them, and therefore making it virtually impossible to, Mr. Speaker, keep track of. I understand now, Mr. Speaker, you know I've been seeing the governor of Trans Nzoia in so many functions, saying so many things, Mr. Speaker, but none to do with the devolution. How he's able to do this, Mr. Speaker. You know, another time I said in this House, if you want to know a stealing governor, they are very vocal on every subject other than the subject matter for which they were elected. You'll never hear them about healthcare. You'll never hear them about devolved services, Mr. Speaker, but they will be out there parroting. Somebody wants to kill me, this and that. I'm not threatened, and this kind of business, Mr. Speaker. I want to challenge the Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Speaker, that this matter has been with us for far too long, that we cannot just reduce it to be a matter of statement. Please guide this House by way of legislation, Mr. Speaker, so that we lead county governments in the right direction. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Beatrice Akinyi.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity
Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the statement by the Senator of Kisumu, Senator Professor Tom Ojienda, on the pollution of Lake Victoria. Honorable Speaker, some times back a research was done by a German organization. And from the findings of that research, somebody said that Lake Victoria could be the largest pit that we have around. And Honorable Speaker, that is not very healthy for all of us that depend on Lake Victoria, either for food, for their livelihoods, for all the activities of their life, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this statement addresses the pollution levels in Lake Victoria and the health risks that are associated with it. Honorable Speaker, where I come from, Homa Bay County, which is part of that lake, a number of our people suffer from waterborne diseases, and it is largely attributed to the pollution of this lake. Honorable Speaker, a number of people even use the lake as to dispose of their waste. And this as sewage, and this must be looked into. Sometimes, Honorable Speaker, we think most of the health facilities around the Lake Victoria region. And Honorable Speaker, there have been such allegations that all their waste go to this lake. But Honorable Speaker, it is a real disaster. It's an environmental problem for the people that live around the lake. Honorable Speaker, my tribe, the Luo, basically are people who feed on fish, Honorable Speaker. And we are beginning to think, and I think rightly so, that the fish that our people are feeding on may not be very healthy. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this statement, and measures must be put in place to restore the lake, not only for transport, but for food and for all the environmental issues. Honorable Speaker, I speak as a concerned habitat of the Lake Victoria, and I cry for our people, and all that Senator Ojienda has raised in the statement must be looked into, not only for the people of Kisumu, Migori, Homa Bay, Siaya, and Busia, but a number of people consume products that come from the lake. Honorable Speaker, I support.
Senator John Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and I rise to support the statement by Senator Esio Kenyuri on homeless persons, Mr. Speaker. We have had problems, and this is a very old problem, Mr. Speaker, and there have been attempts to see to it that homeless people, especially in urban centers, are settled, although there has been some resistance, Mr. Speaker. But one concern that I have heard from the reading of the statement by Senator Esio Kenyuri, Mr. Speaker, is that she kept talking about homeless children and vulnerable mothers. Just to say that we should also think about vulnerable fathers, Mr. Speaker, because they are also vulnerable fathers. So, Mr. Speaker, I think as the committee that will handle this matter handles it, I think they should also think and make recommendations about vulnerable fathers and homeless fathers, Mr. Speaker. And this also brings to question, Mr. Speaker, the issue of affordable housing. That, Mr. Speaker, where the government has entered into a program of affordable housing. But we question, Mr. Speaker, how homeless people can be able to benefit from this program. Because these houses are actually, or when complete, will be sold to people. They will not be given for free. So, Mr. Speaker, then the question becomes, what happens? How will we ever make sure or see to it that homeless people actually get homes if we are constructing houses in the name of affordable housing through overtaxing people while actually selling the same? So exactly then, how will this a particular affordable housing program benefit homeless people, Mr. Speaker. I'm also pleased with the fact that Senator Okenyuri, SC, has, Mr. Speaker, raised the issue of the cost, because we should also look at the cost of this.
What is your point of order, Senator Fernandez?
Mr. Speaker, on standing order 105 on accuracy of facts. You know, it is unfair that we are using the floor of House for cheap populist politics. Is it in order for the Senator of Muranga to state at the floor of the House that Kenyans are being overtaxed, yet he knows a finance bill is passed by Parliament? Where was he when the Finance Act was being passed? Is it in order? Which proof does he have to show that Kenyans are being overtaxed, Mr. Speaker? Yet it was passed by the same Parliament where he sits in.
I did not get that bit. Clerk? All right, Senator John Nyotu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and allow me to first finish prosecuting my
Not
point.
to finish prosecuting.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, it's a matter of public knowledge that Kenyans are being overtaxed, Mr. Speaker, and it's a matter also of public knowledge that before Kenya Kwanza government came to power, Mr. Speaker, that there was no housing levy on the payslips of Kenyans. And so, Mr. Speaker, when I say and I stand here to say that Kenyans are overtaxed, Mr. Speaker, that is not far-fetched. And I would like, Mr. Speaker, to request Senator Cheralge, who is a very progressive senator, to defend things that are defensible. Because Senator Cheralge is a member that has been here for quite some time. And I think it's important that even as he speaks for government, that then he doesn't negate things that everybody know, including primary school children, Mr. Speaker. Nobody doesn't know. There was no housing levy before Kenya Kwanza came to power, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, having responded, allow me to comment on the fact that this statement by Senator S.C. Okenyuri, Mr. Speaker, raised the issue of the cost of these homeless people on the streets, Mr. Speaker. That the committee that will look into this matter should also address the root cause of homeless people and not only the solutions that come that we are supposed to offer for homeless people, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, I support and I ask Senator Cheralge, Mr. Speaker, to have his facts right before he raises on points of orders. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've finished. I'm not on the floor.
Senator Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm here to comment on the statement brought to the floor by Senator Tom on the pollution of Lake Victoria. Mr. Speaker, it is an open secret that as a nation, we are moving clearly in the wrong direction. Mr. Speaker, protect me from Senator Cheralge. I'm just saying that we are moving in the wrong direction in regard to polluting our water resources. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you look at even a layman, the level of infections affecting our people, even some cancerous ailments, can very easily, Mr. Speaker, be traced back to the levels of lead and other heavy metals that we are dumping in our water resources. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important statement that the committee to which is going to be taken should prosecute with finality. I say this, Mr. Speaker, because I'm reminded that a few years back, on the same lake, there was a base called Luangna Beach, where a lot of people used to go and eat fish. But it's also a place where almost all the vehicles in Kisumu town would be cleaned, be a cleaning place for vehicles, right inside the lake. Mr. Speaker, the level of pollution, at some point we are reminded of a time that we saw a lot of fish floating on the lake arising from pollution. Mr. Speaker, I want the committee that will be dealing with this matter to consider other water sources for the country that are equally overpolluted. And I have in mind, Mr. Speaker, what is happening on Athi River. Mr. Speaker, we are slowly but surely turning the Athi River into a poisonous flow of water. In fact, I'm very, very worried as a leader from that region, the region where the river flows in Ukambani, Mr. Speaker, that we are now the government is putting up a mega dam, the Dwake Dam, whose main source of water will be Athi River. Mr. Speaker, if that pollution on Athi River is not checked, what we'll be doing at Dwake Dam is collection of very poisonous water that will be used for irrigation and industrial use to the detriment of the health of our people. So, Mr. Speaker, the committee that will deal with this matter should take it very, very seriously. Mr. Speaker, lastly, on the matter of the housing project. Mr. Speaker, we also have to speak truth to power and to our colleagues and the country. Mr. Speaker, I was asked a very important question yesterday by one of the staff members in my office, that they are actually paying for the housing fund, but their contract is only 5 years. They cannot claim that money until they finish 7 years. But their contract does not allow them to go up to 7 years. So what happens to their contribution?
Senator Fernandez.
Mr. Speaker, let me comment on Senator Okenyuri's by saying, Mr. Speaker, it is quite unfortunate that members today are having Damascus moment on the housing levy. The housing bill was discussed and bypassed by the two members who just spoke before me. So, Mr. Speaker, let's stop lying to Kenyans. Especially Senator Muranga, who was the chair education, he was shouting the highest here on the floor if there was to pass the housing bill. The people of Muranga must be told the truth, and I dare the answer to be reproduced to show that he supported, he debated, and voted for the housing bill. So you cannot come and change simply because you want to look nice, like you are catwalking before the nation to look. It is not a beauty contest, Mr. Speaker. We are dealing with facts. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, is on Wachiri Airport. I'm disappointed, Mr. Speaker, that Wachiri Airport has been done into military installation. Wachiri Airport is a civilian commercial airport. I want to appeal to Ministry of Defense to construct its own kit to use for military, because accessing that Wajir Airport by civilians is a problem. There is only one bus that is operated by KA, Mr. Speaker, subjecting and hampering the movement within the airport. And remember, Mr. Speaker, before the Wajir Airport was turned into military installation, it was number 3 in terms of revenue in this country, apart from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Mombasa, and Eldoret, respectively, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of titles by my brother and our in-law, Senator Chimera, I don't know whether he cleared paying dowry in our culture. We might summon him in the next few days to wind up the issues of dowry. I want to agree. The issue of titles, even the county you come from, including Kilifi or Coast, Mr. Speaker, is still a big challenge. So I want to appeal, even in Nandi, where I come from, like Koibem, Chepkumia, Mr. Speaker, Kapkangani, Kiptuya, here in Tindret, in Ngatipkong and Kapchoria wards, Mr. Speaker, even in the coast, even here is Nairobi, in Kisii, even there are no titles, Mr. Speaker. I want to request National Assembly to appropriate money for titling of land, Mr. Speaker. You know us who are real men, who are dry Kalenjin men. If you do not have land, you are nobody, Mr. Speaker. The respect that comes from where I come from is ownership of land and having wife and children or wives for purposes of succession, Mr. Speaker. That is when you will be respected as an elder. You cannot sit in serious matters in a community, including Ukambani, without having land, having children, but Bishop will disagree on me on the number of wives and children that you should have before and during marriage, Mr. Speaker. So the issue of titling is a serious security that can be used to secure the future of this nation, Mr. Speaker. With those many remarks, I congratulate all senators who brought the statements, and let us stick to the truth, Mr. Speaker, at all times.
Senator for Kilifi.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kwanza nataka kuunga mkono taarifa hii aliyoleta ndugu yetu Seneta Profesa Tom Ojienda, wakili mkubwa katika Kenya, na vile vile ambaye ni seneta wa Kisumu, kulinganisha na hali ya usafi ama utumiaji wa maji katika kaunti ya Kisumu. Bwana Spika, kama vile vile ninavyounga huu mkono hii taarifa, ni kwamba pia katika maeneo mengine katika Kenya, hususan miji mikubwa katika Kenya, inahitaji usafi wa hali ya juu, na haya yote yanafanywa na mambo ya kaunti. Bwana Spika, katika kaunti ya Kilifi, hususan maeneo mbalimbali kwenye market ama masoko yale makubwa makubwa, kama upande wa Mazeras, upande wa Malindi, na hata vile vile upande wa Mtwapa, na hatimaye pia vile pande za Sabaki ambako kuna markiti zile kubwa kubwa. Bwana Spika, tumeona ya kwamba kaunti zile ambazo zinahusikana hazizingatii zaidi vile uchafu unaweza kutupwa ama vile uchafu unaweza kutumika ili kuweka katika hali ya mazingira ambayo hayataleta ugonjwa. Bwana Spika, magonjwa yamekuwa mbalimbali, na hivi sasa tumeona kubezuka, hususan ile wanaita influenza A ama influenza A, ambayo ni mbaya, ni kama COVID. Kwa hiyo tunasema tu ya kwamba statement kama hii izingatiwe zaidi na ile kamati ya afya, na kuweza kuleta mwelekeo ni hali gani katika kaunti zetu za kaunti zetu ndani ya Kenya zitazingatia mambo ya usafi. Bwana Spika, nikisema hivyo ni kwamba katika kaunti ya Kilifi, jambo la kusikitisha ni kwamba katika haya majiji makubwa makubwa, kama vile nilivyotangulia kusema, hakuna hata choo, hakuna hata mahali pa kujisaidia. Hata kama hapa mahali kuna soko na watu wanakuja wengi, wananunua bidhaa fulani fulani alafu waende zao. Bwana Spika, tunaona ya kwamba masoko kama haya yanafaa kaunti zote ndani ya Kenya kuzingatia, kuona ya kwamba kuna vyoo vya wananchi ambao wanaweza kwenda wakajisaidia na kuwe na maji ya kutosha, ili usafi na hali ya afya iweze kuzingatiwa kisawa sawa. Bwana Spika, mimi naunga mkono taarifa hii ya Tom Ojienda. Asante.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to comment on the statement by Senator for Trans Nzoia on operationalization of several funds in the counties, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in the Committee of County Public Investments and Special Funds, Honorable Speaker, we have so many audit queries as a result of the too many funds that have been opened by the governors, Honorable Speaker, and this is basically important for this House to come up with a law to regulate opening up an operationalization of funds within the county, Honorable Speaker, because it looks like the governors are using this to open up accounts in commercial banks, use this as a conduit for corruption, Honorable Speaker, because each fund that is open will require a board of directors that will require basically to claim allowances, Honorable Speaker. They need autonomy. They need to get employees for the particular fund. So, in fact, Honorable Speaker, when we went through reports about 2-3 weeks ago, we have seen that there are too many queries that it's unnecessary. Maybe it is important that we regulate maybe to restrict to 2 or 3 funds only, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the statement by Senator for Wajir Abbas, Honorable Speaker, the airport in Wajir town, Honorable Speaker, is entirely controlled by KDF, Honorable Speaker, and it is limiting access to the people from that region to access the airport, because basically it's a military airport, just like the one in Isli, Honorable Speaker, and access is restricted. So it's important that KA basically takes over the airport, and so that it's easy to commercialize the airport, Honorable Speaker. And the final one that I wanted to comment on was the one by Senator for Kisumu. In fact, I was very surprised when Senator Beatrice Okola said that the lake owned Kisumu, Migori, and Homa Bay basically is very dirty because of the wastage that is passed through the lake by the residents around there. Early this year, January, I was in Kampala, Honorable Speaker, and the side of Uganda is very clean. Basically, this is a Kenyan problem. We need to relook at ourselves. We have a problem with Nairobi River. Senator for Kitui is saying even that river is bad. It's a big problem. So what is really ailing us as Kenyans? This is a problem that we need to see, that there is a disease that we need to get rid of. In fact, I thought basically even Nairobi County, we should be having like one Saturday every month to do cleaning, so that the city goes back to its glory. I remember when we were going to the university, early 80s and early 90s, Nairobi was very clean. The governors who came, the Governor Gidero came, Governor Soko came, and they did a lot of deforestation. They cut all the trees within Nairobi. Nairobi is no longer green. It's no longer the city, the green city in the sun. It is basically a dirty city that we need to rehabilitate, and we are asking Governor for Nairobi, my friend Governor Sakaja, to give us one day every month to do cleaning of Nairobi City, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with those remarks, I'm surprised that some of the senators in this House forgot last year when the finance bill was passed and basically it was withdrawn. The housing levy is a tax. It is not a fund anymore. So maybe you need to advise your employees that there is no more 7 years. It is just it's now a tax. So it's not being accumulated. So read the law properly. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Oburu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, sir, to comment on the statement sought by Senator Tom Ojenda of Kisumu on the pollution of Lake Victoria. Mr. Speaker, sir, the lake is overpolluted. And it is overpolluted, Mr. Speaker, by many factors. It is not one factor. First, Mr. Speaker, the lake is surrounded by factories. And these factories need to treat the effluent that they release into the lake. But, Mr. Speaker, it appears there is some laxity. So the effluent released into the lake is not well controlled. We have sugar factories which are around there, Chemelil sugar, Miwani sugar, Moroni, all of them are releasing effluent through the rivers that pass through them into Lake Victoria. And Mr. Speaker, sir, there is one river called River Kisat, which is a small river just passing by the golf course where I sometimes play golf, Mr. Speaker, that there is a sewage pond which releases effluent into that river. And if you pass through there, Mr. Speaker, the stench that you hear from there, and it is going direct into the lake. Mr. Speaker, if you go around the lake, just as Honorable Kisango, my brother, was saying, the Entebbe, the Jinja area is very clean. The water there is very clean. But you come to our side of the lake, it is overpolluted, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what those people do that we cannot do. If it is development comes with controls. You cannot say that we are more developed and that's why we release more effluent. If you are more developed, you should control the effluent so that the effluent does not kill the fish. The effluent kills the fish, and sometimes, Mr. Speaker, sir, there are some people Mr. Speaker, sorry, who release or even use chemicals to do fishing. And that again further pollutes the lake, Mr. Speaker. I hope that the committee will investigate all this.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I will make very brief comments on the statement as sought by Senator Cheragay from Nandi on the whole issue on law firms offering legal services to county governments, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may it also be the record reflect that just recently we adopted a report from the joint committees on devolution and JLAC as to the petition by one Laban Omusundi on the need to have law firms being banned from offering legal services to county governments, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first let me say this is a very timely conversation because all of a sudden, Mr. Speaker, it appears as if it is wrong for lawyers to offer services to our county government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we want to focus on the question of services to county government, Mr. Speaker, the conversation must be holistic, Mr. Speaker. We should also look at consultants offering services to county government, Mr. Speaker. Just the other day, Mr. Speaker, the governor for Kiambu was taken to EACC, Mr. Speaker, on an allegation that a consultant was paid Kenya shillings 230 million, Mr. Speaker, to offer ERP services to the county government of Kiambu, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why.
What is your point of order, Senator Glory?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand on Standing Order 105 on statement of fact, Mr. Speaker. The report that we adopted at the Senate, Mr. Speaker, and I do recall because I was here and I was the only one who shouted, no, nay, Mr. Speaker. That report does not in any way reflect in what Senator Chimera is trying to allude to, because that report actually says that we should regulate on the services, Mr. Speaker.
Are you giving information?
So, no, it is, he's misleading the public and the House because what he has said is that he's banking on the report to actually say that they are allowed, all lawyers should be allowed, Mr. Speaker, yet the report clearly states that it should be regulated, and that's where he's misleading the House.
Senator Wambua, what is your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senator Chimera should not mislead the House. He's making reference to lawyers not being allowed.
Honorable Wambua, just state what point of order, what standing order are you?
Mr. Speaker, I will, but it looks very boring. But I will. 105, Mr. Speaker. It's very boring, really. But that's fine. It's a law. So, Mr. Speaker, Chimera should not mislead the House because he is making reference to lawyers not being allowed to offer services in counties. But even the legal counsel employed by counties are lawyers. So he needs to really stay, yes, outsourcing. If he's making reference to outsourcing, then that we can understand. But if he's talking about lawyers giving services to counties, that's gross misleading of the House and the nation. The Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chimera, proceed to conclude your remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your protection. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say, I didn't make any reference to lawyers being banned from offering services. I was drawing this House to the attention of a report that 2 committees looked into and tabled. That report was an issue after a petition that was brought to this House seeking to ban law firms from offering services. That is in public record, Mr. Speaker. As that said and done, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to take this chance to urge our county governors that let us allow the office of the county attorney to be functional. Let us resource the county attorney, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chimera, you're making comments touching on which state?
Statement as sought by Senator Cherage on the issue of Nandi law firms. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, you would find more often than not that a whole county attorney is attending fundraisers, Mr. Speaker, in counties. A whole county attorney, Mr. Speaker, is representing a governor in political rallies, Mr. Speaker. Yet we are here complaining that we are losing so much money by hiring external law firms, and we have county attorneys, Mr. Speaker, in office. I just want to humbly request governors to resource, capacitate, build these offices of the county attorney, and make sure they are actually serving as county attorneys, Mr. Speaker. And I have tremendous respect for this county attorney, Mr. Speaker. Some of them are known to me personally. I have been to the same class with them. We've argued matters together in court, Mr. Speaker. And I am shocked to see them in fundraisers, Mr. Speaker. I just want to appeal to the county governors, together with the County Public Service Board, please recruit competent lawyers to work as county attorneys, Mr. Speaker. That's the only way we'll have a chance, and we'll mitigate statements such as the one sought by Senator Agea by allowing our county attorney's office to flourish and to work competently for the people of our counties. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for those many remarks.
Senator Osotsi. Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to comment on the statement by Senator Transoya on the issue of Nawiri Fund. And I want to clarify that indeed there are so many funds which have been established in counties. My committee of CPIC has raised this concern. And if you look at the reports that we have tabled in this House, we have clearly recommended that we need to amend the PFM Act so that we limit the number of funds in our counties to maybe maximum 3. But, Mr. Speaker, you know, most of these things that we do, we don't necessarily require to make laws to have them done in the right manner. Because, for example, on the issue of funds, the control of budget has a statutory mandate to regulate the issue of formation and even the issue of administration of funds in the counties. Why is the control of budget allowing proliferation of many funds in the counties? That is an issue that the control of budget should address. But while on the funds, Mr. Speaker, we have this debate going on bursary funds in our counties. And we hear the governors are complaining that they cannot run a bursary fund because without the kitty. Mr. Speaker, the problem with the bursary fund in the counties is just inability to follow the law. Because you know very well bursary is a national government function, but the Constitution provides that whenever any level of government wants to perform a function that is not their function, they need to have an intergovernmental agreement with the other level of government. Most of the bursary funds that are run in our counties are not supported by intergovernmental agreements with the national government. That is where the problem is. So they can run the bursary funds, but only if they have an intergovernmental agreement with the national government, which they don't have. And we know the reasons why they don't want to execute intergovernmental agreement. Is because we have noted in the audit report, the easiest money that is eaten is the bursary fund in our counties. I know, for example, one county where 90% of the money that was put in the bursary fund was eaten by county officials. So even as they
Honorable Senators, you know we've finished the time for statements, but I will allow Senator Osotsi, because he's a deputy party leader, 1 minute to finish.
Yes. Thank you for recognizing. So, Mr. Speaker, the senators, we are not opposed to our people getting bursaries. We know our people really need bursary. But, Mr. Speaker, this fund is misused. This fund is a cash cow for county officials. And that is why they are fighting hard to have this bursary fund continue running without intergovernmental relations agreement. We want to encourage the governors to take the step of having an intergovernmental relations agreement with the national government on how these funds should be run and continue giving bursaries. But they should not be allowed to run bursary fund without any legal framework, like what is happening at the moment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support the statement by Senator.
Thank you, Senator Kinyua.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Bwana Spika, nataka kuunga mkono taarifa iliyoletwa na Senator Abbas, Senator wa Wajir, kuhusu uwanja wa ndege. Bwana Spika, uwanja wa ndege ukisimamiwa na wanajeshi, Bwana Spika, inaleta msitofahamu, kwa sababu unapata ya kwamba wananchi wa kawaida, raia, wanapata ugumu wa kuweza kusafiri. Bwana Spika, ukiangalia vile ambavyo uwanja huo kabla hujachukuliwa na wanajeshi ulikuwa na wananchi wengi, lakini wakati huu Bwana Spika unapata una wananchi wachache. Unapata basi moja peke yake ya KAA ndio inawasafirisha wananchi, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ni vizuri pengine wangefuata vile ambavyo kulitendeka pale Nakuru, pale Ranet, wakati mji wa Nakuru ulipewa hadhi ukaimarika. Bwana Spika, walisema ya kwamba uwanja wa ndege gawano mara mbili, kuwe na uwanja wa ndege wa kijeshi na uwanja wa ndege wa wananchi wa kawaida, kwa sababu sheria zinazotumiwa na wanajeshi ni sheria ngumu ambazo wananchi wa kawaida hazielewi, kwa sababu maafisa wa kijeshi sheria ambazo wamefunzwa nazo si kama askari polisi ambao wanajua jinsi ya kuishi na wananchi wa kawaida. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, ningependekeza kamati ambayo itakayoletewa hii taarifa wazingatia kwamba uwanja ule uwe na migao miwili, kuwe na wananchi, kwa sababu uwanja wenyewe ni mkubwa zaidi Bwana Spika. Uwe na upande wa wananchi raia pamoja na wanajeshi, waachiwe sehemu yao waweze kufanya kazi yao. Bwana Spika, ripoti iliyoletwa na Senator Kanyuri kuhusu watu kupata makao, Bwana Spika, inapaswa iangaliwe vizuri na kutolewe mikakati tosha, ndio mtu akiwa hana makao kujulikane anaishi wapi, anakaa wapi mahali ambapo hana makao, alafu ndio aweze kupewa na makao. Na makao inapaswa kupeanwa bure Bwana Spika, bila mtu kutozwa chochote, kwa sababu hawa ni maskini hohehahe, hawana mbele wala nyuma. Wanapaswa kupewa makao, kwa sababu kazi kuu ya serikali ni kupatia watu makao, kulinda maisha yao na vile vile kulinda ile kidogo walionayo Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo Kanyuri, na unga mkono taarifa yako, lakini kuangaliwe mikakati ambayo itatumiwa kwa watu kupewa manyumba Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kuna vyeti kwa wale ambao hawana vyeti ya kumiliki mashamba kulingana na taarifa iliyoletwa hapa. Ukitembea sehemu nyingi za Kenya, watu wanaishi mtu hana cheti cha kumiliki mashamba. Ukienda kama Laikipia, uende mahali kunaitwa Dhome, uende mahali kunaitwa Marmanet, uende mahali kunaitwa Rumuruti, watu wanaishi bila hati za kumiliki mashamba, na hizo hati zinaweza kusaidia kukopa
Olekina, Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support two statements brought to this House today by Senator from the great county of Kisumu. Mr. Speaker, having clean sanitation is something which should be a basic necessity for any country. Governments must ensure, because if we are now waiting for foreigners to come in and carry research in our own country, for them to be able to publish in international newspaper that 58% of all the rural population of Kisumu are defecating in public, looks really bad. Mr. Speaker, it is imperative that county governments now, 58%. You know, the most important thing that we must do is to listen to the statements. This is a statement which is very, very concerning. Because when you look at it, when you look at where the people live, they live next to the lake. The next statement brought by the good senator from Kisumu is about pollution of the lake. You know, untreated sewage, dead plastics. I mean, if you listen to this, you know, what measures are we taking to prevent further pollution? Which includes, you know, areas are polluted with agricultural runoff. No wonder people are dying of cancer in our country. A lot of carcinogenic materials are just being dumped into the lake. And you remember, it's a fresh water lake, so people are drinking that water. I think it's about time that we now really change how we even protect our water reservoirs. In my own county of Narok, in a place called Nairegi-Angare, there are a lot of development next to the main road, but there is what is a special water reservoir which is there. My hope is that one day we can remove all these constructions that we have next to the road, move people to other places, and then protect these water reservoirs. One statement is talking about pollution of the lake. One that we really care about, plastics. We need to go after these companies. Mr. Speaker, just add me 30 seconds after my time is over. We need to go after these companies which are polluting with plastics. It's not over yet, but it's going to be over because you are disturbing me now. You know, and make sure we deal with it. So these two committees, the land and environment and health, we must work together, because these two statements by Senator Ojenda are intertwined. You know, we don't want foreign entities reporting in their countries that people in Kenya defecate in public. It is wrong. So the issue of sanitation, the issue of water reservoirs, we must deal with them now. If we cannot deal with them now, what about the next generation, future generations? You know, we have to solve the problems now to prepare a way for future generations. So it is important. It is very, very important that we deal with this. And I want to invite all of us to be really listening to these statements which are brought here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I still have time.
Thank you, Senator Miraj.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kuweza kunipa fursa hii na mimi nitoe changizo zangu kwenye statementi tatu zilizoletwa na wajumbe wenzangu, nikianza na statement ya dadangu Senator Esio Kenyuri. Niweze kumpa heko kwa kuweza kuwafikiria zile jamii wanazoishi katika maisha ya kurandaranda katika miji mikuu katika taifa letu la Kenya. Sisi kama viongozi kutoka kule pwani, Bwana Spika, tumeng'ang'ana sana kuona kwamba anga ya kiwanja cha Moi imeweza kufunguliwa ili utalii uweze kushamiri, tuweze kupata makazi. Lakini kuna jinamizi ambalo limeibuka. Wakati watalii wanakuja katika mji wetu wa Mombasa, Bwana Spika, hawa watoto na hizi familia ambazo hazina makazi pale Mombasa zinafanya vituko hadi zile juhudi zote ambazo tumeziweka kama wajumbe zinaenda na maji. kwa sababu watoto hawa wanapigana mbele ya watalii ambao wamekuja na inakuwa kero kubwa. Kwa hivyo nitakubaliana na dadangu Senator Esio Kenyuri ya kwamba familia hizi zitafutiwe makazi, na pia zinapoendelea kutafutiwa makazi kuwe na parameters, kuwe na viwango vya kuweza kujua ni nani ambaye anastahiki kupata hizi nyumba na ni nani hastahiki. Kwa sababu kumekuwa na tabia pale Mombasa, mtu anaenda kijijini, mtu anaenda kuzikwa huko bara, gari ya matanga inaporudi inabeba watu, alafu baadaye tunakuja kuambiwa ni familia ama jamii za kurandaranda ambazo huko nyumbani wako na mashamba makubwa. Niweze kuchangia pia statementi iliyoletwa hapa na kakangu Senator Chimera ya kwamba sisi kama serikali pia tunachangia mahali pakubwa kuweza kuona watu wanavamia mashamba ya wengine, kwa sababu tunakawia na kuchelewesha kupeana hati miliki za mashamba. Nitazungumzia mashamba matatu ambayo yameweza kugawanywa yaweze kupewa jamii kama skimu, lakini tunaona mambo yanachelewa, yanakawia, na wenyewe Waswahili wanasema ngoja ngoja inaumiza matumbo. Tunataka tupewe mikakati iliyonyoroka na hii kamati ambayo imetwikwa majukumu haya. Yaani mpaka lini wakazi wa pwani kwa ujumla wataweza, ama na Wakenya kwa ujumla watakuwa wanasubiria vyeti hivi vya umiliki halali wa mashamba yao? Asanteni sana.
Senator Onyonka.
Asante ndugu Speaker, kwa sababu wale ndugu zangu wamekuwa wakizungumza kwa lugha ya taifa, ningekuwa vizuri na mimi nijitahidi nihakikishe nimezungumza hivyo. Kwanza ndugu Speaker, ningependa kumpa mkono wa hongera dadangu Senator Esio Kenyuri. Kusema kweli, jambo ambalo amelileta ni kuwa nchi yetu ndio nchi ambayo wakati huu ukiuliza kuna mpango wa kiserikali wa kujihusisha na mambo ambao kwa wale watu hawana makao ya kuishi. Watu maskini ambao wengi wao ni wazee, wengi wao ni wale kina mama ambao wanaume wao wamefariki. Ukiangalia watoto wengi sana kwa miji yetu ambao ni miji wa kisasa. Ukienda kule Kisii, uje Nairobi, uende Mombasa, utapata watoto wachanga ambao wanaishi hapa karibu kwa roundabout ya Globe, wengine wako hapo Uhuru Highway, wengine unaona wanatembea kwa maestate mbalimbali, lakini sisi hatujihusishi. Kuna uwezekano kuwa serikali kuu inaweza kuketi chini kwa huu mpango ambao wanaita affordable housing, serikali jenga manyumba ambazo wale watu maskini kabisa wanapewa nafasi ambako wanaweza kupata hizi nafasi kuishi. Jambo la pili ndugu Speaker, sisi kama wabunge na wale ambao tuko hapa kama maseneta, wengi wetu hatujazeeka sana. Ukienda mashinani, kina mababu zetu, kina mama wazee, kuna hata wazee vile nilisikia ndugu zangu wanasema hawana mahala pa kuishi, hawana chakula, hawapati matibabu sababu wamezeeka. Vijana wametoka, watoto wameondoka, wameenda miji mikuu. Ningependa kuuliza nyumba hii ya Senate tujikakamue, tuanze kuketi chini vile tunaweza kuwa, kwa sababu hili jambo haswa kwa makaunti zile kule ugatuzi ndio tunatakiwa tuanze kujiuliza tunaweza kutafuta njia ya kuhakikisha nyumba zimepatikana ambako watu maskini wanaishi. Ndugu Speaker, wakati nilikuwa natafuta kura na ndugu yangu ambaye alinitoroka naitwa Mheshimiwa Simbarati, katika ile manifesto kipengele namba 3 tulikuwa nasema tutajenga vyumba kule mashinani ambako watu maskini watakaa, tuwapatie chakula, haswa kina mama wale ambao ni wazee na hawana njia, hawana mtu wa kuhudumia, hawana madawa, hawana maji ya kunywa, hata mahali ya kuoga. Kumalizia, ningependa kusema kuwa ndugu yangu Chimera alikuwa anazungumza vile unapata kuwa mawakili wamepewa nafasi kuu zaidi ya kujiingiza kwa ufisadi. Ningependa kumwambia, kwa sababu nilikuwa kwa kamati ya SIPAC, kuna kampuni za mawakili hapa nchini kwetu, unapata kampuni moja analipwa shilingi bilioni 1 kuwa na kesi moja ama kesi mbili. Huu ni mpango ambao magavana wanachukua hela hela ya county.
Senator Wafula.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii ili niweze kuchangia hoja. Ya kwanza Mheshimiwa Spika ni hoja ya Mheshimiwa Esio Kenyuri kutetea wasiokuwa na makazi, na kataja tu kwamba watoto na wanawake Mheshimiwa Spika. lazima ifahamike wazi kwamba baadhi ya wanaume pia hawana makao kwa sababu wamefurushwa na wanawake watoro wasiokuwa na nidhamu, na kwamba ni lazima tunapochangia hoja hizi tuwaweke maanani watu wote ambao hawana makazi. Jambo la pili tu ni kutaja kwa kifupi yale ambayo Mheshimiwa Senator mwenzangu alikuwa anataja, mambo ya makazi yanayoweza kugharamiwa. Ni kwamba baadhi ya wananchi ama maseneta hapa hawana makazi ya kisiasa kwa sasa, kwa sababu walifurushwa katika nyumba zao za kisiasa. Sasa wanazunguka huku na huku wakitafuta makazi, na watakia kila laheri katika pilika hizo. Jambo la tatu Mheshimiwa Spika, ni hoja ya vyeti vya umiliki wa ardhi. Kuna changamoto nyingi katika kaunti zetu. Kuna shida ya vyeti, ni sawa, lakini kuna baadhi ya watu wachache ambao wakinunua mashamba vyeti vinapatikana haraka.
Senator Joe Newton, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I raise on a point of order because Senator Wakori on the right of reply, Mr. Speaker. Senator Wakoli has referred to me and said that those of us that have been thrown out of government have nowhere, have no political homes. I want to tell Senator Wakoli that in May, coming May, we will have a very big political home led by Rigathi Gachagua. So, Senator Wafula, we are finishing our house. We are not homeless politically. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Joe Newton, there is no such standing order, so we'll just ignore it. Senator Wafula.
Honorable Speaker, kulingana na kule tunakotoka Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni kwamba yule ambaye anakiri kwa vitendo vyake kwamba ni mshukiwa hubwata na kujitangaza mapema kabla hajafikiwa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, naomba Mheshimiwa Speaker kusema kwamba tunataja mambo ya mito na ubora wa maji. Ni lazima kila kiongozi awajibike na kila taasisi iwajibike. Tumekuwa tukitaja mambo ya mto Nairobi, Mheshimiwa Speaker, watu wakiambiwa waondoke katika maeneo hayo, lakini baadhi ya viongozi tena walikuwa mbele wakiongoza kuzuia wananchi wasiondoke katika maeneo ya kudhibiti ubora wa mito. Hao ndio Mheshimiwa Nyuto ambao anasema watafufua nyumba zao za kisiasa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, jambo lingine Mheshimiwa Speaker ni hoja ya Mheshimiwa Tabitha. Metropolitan Sacco ni sacco ambayo tulijadili mambo yao katika awamu iliyopita. Sasa hivi Mheshimiwa Speaker, Metropolitan wametoa notisi kwamba wanataka kubadilisha mfumo, jina na jinsi watakavyoendesha Metropolitan Sacco. Sasa lazima tuwapambane na hao watu, kwa sababu miongoni mwa wasimamizi wa Metropolitan Sacco ni wale ambao wako na madeni ya zaidi ya mamilioni katika Metropolitan Sacco. Sasa sisi tuko nanyi kuhakikisha kwamba walimu na wekezaji katika Metropolitan Sacco wapate haki yao. Nikimalizia, hoja ya Mheshimiwa Alan Chesang kwamba kuna baadhi ya magavana ambao kazi yao ni kuzurura na kutoa cheche za matusi na kejeli kwa serikali. Lazima mikoba ya serikali na pesa zetu tuzilinde, kwa sababu hawa magavana hawana msingi madhubuti ya kutusomea sisi viongozi jinsi tunavyopaswa kufanya kazi. Sasa hizi pesa ambazo wanatumia kwenda kwa vyombo vya habari.
Senator Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to support statement by Senator Lelegwe on equalization fund. Mr. Speaker, I have brought a similar statement about a month ago. And let me alert Finance Committee, our statements are taking too long before Finance Committee. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we made a blunder to have actually allowed equalization fund projects to be implemented by county government. Mr. Speaker, if you look at those projects, none of them are advertised. There is no public participation. There is no priority. Nobody knows how the money has been utilized. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to have a serious investigation on equalization fund projects. And for example, in my county, there are so many projects of dispensaries that have stalled, and nobody knows their whereabouts. I have a similar case in a place called Akadeli, where members of public have made a lot of noise that the dispensary is just a white elephant project. It's not helping anybody. I have even taken the matter to Ministry of Health. Nothing is being done. Mr. Speaker, equalization project needs investigation, and an urgent one. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. The time for the statements has passed, long past. So we'll go to the next order. Next order.
Order number 8, the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 14 of 2025. First reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide for equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county governments in the 2025-2026 financial year and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, the provision of sanitary towels bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2024. Second reading, mover to reply.
Senator Gloria Oroba, you have 27 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, before I resume my reply, Mr. Speaker, I want to seek your permission, understanding Order 97.3, where it says that the mover of a substantive motion may surrender all or part of his or her right to reply to another senator or senators nominated by him or her who has not already spoken to such a motion. Mr. Speaker, I have gotten a request from my colleague, Senator Nyutu, Senator Miraj, and Senator Wakoli, who would like to add their voice to it, Mr. Speaker, and I want to seek your permission. If I can donate 3 minutes each to these 3 senators, and then I believe I will remain with about 16 minutes to reply and conclude, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, 3 minutes, Senator Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and right from the onset, I want to congratulate my sister, Senator Gloria, on the very big commitment that she has shown towards saying that all girls.
Yes, Senator Sifuna, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, my reading of this particular standing order is only in reference to replies to motions. It has no mention of a bill. What is on the floor of the House is a reply to a bill. And Honorable Speaker, you should take note that the move of this bill spoke for an hour yesterday. A whole hour moving the bill. Today, and there was opportunity for people to contribute. They were not in this House to contribute. Some of us sat here until 6:30 because we were on queue also to move our bills. Honorable Speaker, can you make a ruling on whether Standing Order 97 applies to bills? Because the procedure for bills is totally different from the procedure for motions.
There is no one on the floor of the House. Yes, what's your point?
Mr. Speaker, I have 27 minutes, Mr. Speaker. That is why I sought for your permission. I can use the 27 minutes to continue speaking, but I've heard Senator Sifuna saying that I spoke for an hour. So I don't know whether we are arguing on the time or what we are, because 27 minutes will be spent on this matter of provision of sanitary pads, Mr. Speaker. So again, I seek your permission, because if I donate 3 minutes to each of these senators, Mr. Speaker, I'm not eating into anyone's time. And this is a matter that I believe the senators who are not in the House would really want to weigh in, Mr. Speaker. So I don't know whether Senator Sifuna is saying that he does not want the public to hear what Senator Miraj and Senator Nyutu and Senator Wakoli, would like to contribute on this motion. So, Speaker, kindly, I seek your permission again.
Senator Cherargei, what's your point of order?
Speaker, just for clarity, I agree with Senator Sifuna, because the reading, unless the interpretation of the word bill and motion are two things that are totally different, even how you prosecute and time allocated. The question should be, is the motion and bill the same, or are two different aspects that are of the same family but different species, as a biology class would describe? So the reading of this is that Senator Gloria has a right, but the standing order number 97.3 qualifies this by saying it's a motion. So does it mean the motion and the bill are the same? Because if it is the same, then Senator Gloria Oroba has that right to donate part of her reply. But if it is not the same, then the right to reply, which I think should be in the terms of the bill, the honor should just go to Senator Gloria Oroba to reply and request, as per standing order, I think 63 or 66, to defer the question until we put for division if it concerns counties. So if we can get that clarity, it will also assist some of us, even including Senator Sifuna, who is on the queue to move Sports Amendment Bill of 2024. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Senators. I think the point of order by Senator Sifuna is a very substantive point of order, because it requires to be properly ruled on that matter. On whether a motion and a bill is the same, and I'm taking it that the two individuals who have rose on the point of order, Senator Sifuna and Senator Cherargei, are both learned individuals, and I would like to take cue on the fact that they probably understand the law better than I do. We will have to get clarification on that, but this standing order 97.3 refers to right to reply, and the fact that during the right to reply, another senator may nominate another senator who was not already spoken to such motion. So I would believe that that right to reply and that right to donate your time applies to both a motion and a bill. But there being no proper clarity on that matter, and I think Senator Gloria had already started replying to this matter and had not put the request to donate that time at the time of starting her reply, we will have to reconsider the permission that we gave her to donate the time to Senator Nyutu, Senator Miraj, and Senator Wafula, and ask Senator Gloria to just go ahead and reply. Senator Gloria.
Thank you, Speaker. I will take my 27 minutes and speak the points on behalf as well of my colleagues who had really wanted to weigh in on this matter, Speaker, because it's a matter that affects the lives of many people that they represent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, as I was listening to my colleagues who supported this bill, Mr. Speaker, I got a couple of points. One from Senator Eddie Okech, who Speaker, I don't know what is happening today. We were doing so well with this bill, and it seems like all stars were aligned, but now there's challenges. Mr. Speaker, Senator Eddie Okech had actually brought up the issue, and I know that it is an issue that has been discussed, that there is an existing piece of legislation, that is Section 18 of the Basic Education Act, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to clarify that my bill comes in to expand on Section 18, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Section 18 of the Education Act just stipulates that government should provide sanitary towels. It does not give the frequency, it does not give the quality, it does not give the authorities, there is no monitoring and evaluation. There's a lot of things that lack in that act, in that amendment, Mr. Speaker, and those are the gray areas where all the shenanigans had been happening, Mr. Speaker. So my bill comes in to cure that, to ensure that there is a proper legal framework such that no government can give an excuse as to why they are not providing free sanitary towels to all schoolgirls. And now we are also adding tertiary institutions, Mr. Speaker, because the Section 18 that Senator Eddie Oketch was trying to rely on only provides for primary schools, Mr. Speaker. So we are adding the tertiary institutions. We are also adding the women who are in the custody of the prison facilities in this country, Mr. Speaker. So if you look at the substantial matter that is being added, that is why we want a standalone act that is going to cover all of these things in terms of the provision of free sanitary towels. Mr. Speaker, I heard Senator Mungatana speaking on the issue of the powers that this bill is going to give to an independent committee, to the extent that, according to the definition and what his submissions, that it was going to be equivalent of a parastatal, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is happening is there is a big fight, and this is why this bill is important. People want our schoolgirls to get sanitary towels. Different institutions are actually supporting the provision of sanitary towels. Our women reps are supporting the provision of sanitary towels, the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Education, but all of these institutions are fighting to be the custodians of the procurement and distribution of sanitary pads. And that is why we have never really made any headway in terms of the impact on this budgetary allocation, Mr. Speaker. Do you know what my bill is attempting to do, Mr. Speaker? My bill is attempting to take away that authority from any of these actors, Mr. Speaker, and devolving it down to the counties and to the beneficiaries of those sanitary towels. So I'm trying to say that instead of debating on whether these independent committees are going to have powers to the level or to the extent of a parastatal, the argument should be, why haven't we made headway when it was domiciled in the Ministry of Education? It is very simple. Because procurement and distribution never had a legal framework. Why were we not making headways when we brought it now to the Ministry of Gender? Same situation, no legal framework, no monitoring and evaluation, no the authority that was involved that didn't really put into place the things that are needed. So, Mr. Speaker, all I'm saying in this bill, take the money from national government. Take it away from all these actors who have got conflicting interests, Mr. Speaker, and take the money to the people through those independent county committees, which are actually just going to focus on procurement of sanitary towels, distribution of sanitary towels, advocacy on menstrual hygiene, advocacy on ending period stigma and the shame, and basically the beneficiaries of this government program. So, Mr. Speaker, I do understand that Mungatana was a little bit not okay with the independence of that committee, but the independence of that committee is what is going to ensure that all these agencies, including ourselves as politicians, including the women reps, the senators, the governors, all these other people, it is going to ensure that those people are merely oversighting a government program and not being part of the procurement, Mr. Speaker. So yes, those powers are necessary, and those powers, the power belongs to the people, Mr. Speaker. So as a legislator, I cannot argue to take away the power from the people, but I'm saying give the power to the people to decide what kind of menstrual hygiene products they need, when they need them, how many times in terms of distribution, who is going to be involved in the distribution. Give the power back to the people. That is what this bill is attempting to do, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I, however, understand that that is a very uncomfortable place to be for certain offices, including the Ministry of Gender, including our women reps who are oversighting the NGAF, Mr. Speaker, and including the senators who perhaps would have liked to play a role here and there, Mr. Speaker. But the right thing to do, I am legislating on the fundamental basis on the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to ensure that those who have control of procurement and distribution are the actual beneficiaries of that program and the impact that it was intended to have, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to also highlight, and this I think was brought about as well by the sentiments of Senator Eddie Oketch, that the Education Act doesn't even talk about the menstrual hygiene policy that we have. By the way, Kenya is the first country in Africa that put together a menstrual hygiene policy under the Ministry of Health at that time, because it was being funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Mr. Speaker. And this menstrual hygiene policy is a very important piece of document that just sits now in the Ministry of Health. Nobody is implementing it. Mr. Speaker, I was even surprised to learn when I was here, when I came here to Senate, that this menstrual hygiene policy could have easily been implemented by the Minister of either Education or Health or Gender, drafting regulations and fronting them to the Parliament for approval, Mr. Speaker. The menstrual hygiene policy is a very basic document on saying we want our women and girls to menstruate with dignity. What does it look like? It looks like ensuring that all facilities have toilets, ensuring that girls and women have privacy in terms of those toilets, water and sanitation, Mr. Speaker, ensuring that disposal of the same sanitary towels is done in an environmentally friendly way, Mr. Speaker. These are things that we could have seen already the Ministry of Gender bring forth regulations, Mr. Speaker. However, that has not happened. So what this bill is also attempting to do is to ensure that going forward we have regulations. Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the public that is listening, regulations, this is where we as Parliament donate powers to the ministry to be able to regulate in certain places, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you will be very shocked to learn that some of these entities here in the CBD of Nairobi don't have toilets. Workers, when they go to work, I know, for instance, there's a shop that sells shoes just here in town, a very popular one. It has branches everywhere in this country. They don't have toilets, Mr. Speaker. If we had a regulation that ensures that we are putting in the menstrual hygiene policy, one of the things in the regulation is that for you to operate as a commercial entity anywhere, if you have a physical address, you should be able to have a facility in terms of a toilet, and you should be able to give the privacy for women and girls in terms of menstruating with dignity. You should be able to deal with the issues of disposing of the same menstrual hygiene products. Mr. Speaker, the policy can also touch on the manner with which organizations are dealing with the issues of period shaming, Mr. Speaker. We saw a cheese factory the other day coming down hard on women, asking them to strip down so that they could find out who was on their period because they happened to have disposed a used sanitary towel in the wrong bin, Mr. Speaker. If we had a regulation guiding all these establishments, this is what you can do, and this is what you cannot do, Mr. Speaker, we would not be having these very shameful and unfortunate events that are happening, Mr. Speaker. Some of them go unreported. If you go into my inbox to look at the number of complaints that I'm getting from workers at the EPZA zones, Mr. Speaker, it's crazy. It's crazy. They are just rogue institutions that really don't care about women menstruating with dignity, Mr. Speaker. In this house, Mr. Speaker, I was shocked. I'm here standing pushing for this bill, Mr. Speaker, but we don't even provide sanitary towels in our toilets here in Parliament. Why, Mr. Speaker? We have a lot of water on the table. We have all this luxury. We have all these free things, including gym facilities and whatever. How difficult is it for us to just provide sanitary towels and be actors who are really, really showing people that this is the way it should be done, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, as I reply, I would like to inform those who contributed yesterday, and I want to thank Senator Karen Nyamu. Senator Karen Nyamu talked about shelf life so as to promote local manufacturers, Mr. Speaker. During the Gen Z movement, Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that I got the hit just by talking about local manufacturers, Mr. Speaker. I remember shouting at the top of my lungs through my social media pages that, honestly speaking, would you want me as a legislator to fight for those who are importing sanitary towels, or would you like me to fight such that we have policies that are pushing the local manufacturing industry to ensure that we create jobs? Mr. Speaker, period poverty is rooted under poverty. In fact, poverty is the enemy, Mr. Speaker. Every time someone comes to me on my inbox and says, you this, I always tell them, poverty is the enemy. If we can deal with poverty, most of these things will disappear, Mr. Speaker. But how are we going to deal with poverty when you're busy running hashtags to promote those who are producing products in China, products in places that we cannot even track the quality of it. Mr. Speaker, there's always a hashtag every day about this and that, Mr. Speaker. And what I have been really saying throughout this period is let us promote local manufacturers, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud today to say that in this journey, I have walked this journey with several local manufacturers who understand the pain points of employing people from Kenya to produce and manufacture sanitary towels, Mr. Speaker. I have worked hand in hand with Sai Industries. They produce a pad called Femela, Mr. Speaker. Every other time I am, my legislators asking me, give me pads, let me go and distribute. I call them, but I know the weight that they have. The competition between the local manufacturers, Mr. Speaker, and those who are importing all these Chinese and all other products that are actually substandard, Mr. Speaker, it's crazy. Someone will import sanitary pads, one packet at 7 shillings, Mr. Speaker. They will come and put it on the shelf in Kenya at 80 shillings, Mr. Speaker. A local manufacturer will go up to 22 to 27 shillings, Mr. Speaker, to produce that one packet, and they still come and compete with the importer who has imported at 8 shillings, and they still are competing at 80 shillings on the shelf, Mr. Speaker. I cannot, not because of votes, not because of being liked by the public, I cannot stand anywhere to support importation of sanitary towels, Mr. Speaker. My bill, what it does is we are saying, let us deal with period poverty holistically. Let us deal with the advocacy of ensuring that the stigma has ended, ensuring that our girls are sensitized on menstrual hygiene. Let us deal with provision and access to menstrual hygiene products by ensuring that we as government have ring-fencing budget towards purchasing and distribution of the same, but also let us deal with the poverty, because that is what is more sustainable. The poverty, how we are going to deal with it is ensuring that we are promoting local manufacturers, Mr. Speaker. We have a company down here, Flora. Every time there is a government tender calling in for this supply of sanitary pads under either the Ministry of Education or Gender, if you go to Flora and Femela and all these local manufacturers, you will see that suddenly they have employed so many people in that period of time, Mr. Speaker. Now, if, for instance, I, as an individual, cannot access pads because I do not have money, Mr. Speaker, if you give me a job that is sustainable in one of these factories, Mr. Speaker, then you don't need to donate pads to me, because now I can be able to afford. That's one way of dealing with the poverty. But, Mr. Speaker, I have to agree with many people online who have been saying, deal with the costing of the pads, Mr. Speaker. The only way we can deal with the costing of the pads is to ensure that we kill this very unfair competition of someone going outside to a market that is not regulated, a market that we cannot track, a market that we cannot even understand what materials they are using, bringing in products at 7 shillings or 6 shillings per pack, shelving them at 80 shillings per pack, making a killing, and then with time, we get all these complaints about the substandard, about girls getting infections, about them not being able to be disposed because the level of plastic is insane. Mr. Speaker, so this bill, in short, when people say we are tired of your billboards, do something sustainable, Mr. Speaker, this is what I've been working on for 2 years, Mr. Speaker. I am so glad that I get this opportunity to give clarity on what this bill really is targeting to achieve, Mr. Speaker. I have so much faith in the legislators who understand the intent of this bill, which is provision of sanitary towels to vulnerable girls in schools, Mr. Speaker, provision of sanitary towels to vulnerable girls who are under the care of our prison facility, Mr. Speaker, and women, and also to ensure that the issue of period poverty can be dealt with holistically, homegrown solutions, county-level engagement, grassroots-level interventions, where it is the grassroots who are telling us that today we are not going to...
Senator Oropo, would you like to be informed by Senator Paul Thangwa?
I was going to ask you who Senator Paul. Yes, Mr. Speaker, as long as my time is frozen, I would like to be informed by Senator Thangwa.
Very well, Senator Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I want to inform my friend and Senator Oroba, of course, I could have supported the motion, the bill, if there was enough time. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to inform Senator Uroba, and I love her campaign when it comes to end of period poverty. You know, I've seen billboards all over saying we are all a product of missed period, Mr. Speaker. And I think that is the way. I mean, if we talk about it, then the stigma will go, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to inform her, for us to be able to have every girl in every school to be supplied with the sanitary pads, Mr. Speaker, we should support the production of these sanitary pads in the country. And at Kirdi, that is a government, that is a saga, a parastato, Mr. Speaker, there is a whole machine for making sanitary pads, Mr. Speaker, that has been bought by government for governors to go and learn, or for anybody, actually, not governors only. They go to Kirdi. Kirdi is somewhere in South Sea, Mr. Speaker. People can learn, they see how these machines work. They can even tell you where they bought the machine, so that anybody who would want to produce these sanitary pads, Mr. Speaker, will first of all get a hands-on kind of training from Kirdi. Then the county government, through this industrial park they're calling, they can provide opportunities for anybody who would want to start business, Mr. Speaker. So I wanted to inform, and I know she is very informed, Senator Uroba, that if the government and the county government want to end period poverty, we can do so by supporting grassroots groups, Mr. Speaker. We should now think of helping even the women whom we help through GAF, through SCDF, or through any other alternative, Mr. Speaker. We should now stop going with the, what do you call them, hair dryers. We are giving now bicycles. We should think of coming up with machines that can help alleviate or remove such kind of poverty, Mr. Speaker. As we are helping our people economically, we also help them to provide these kind of products so that governors can even give these groups those tenders to supply these sanitary pads to schools for free, because this is supposed to be free. I mean, no girl should buy a sanitary towel in this country, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to assist. Let me repeat that. No girl should buy a sanitary towel, period. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. And in the future, Senator, when you're standing on a point of order to inform the Senator, it doesn't mean it's an opportunity for you now to contribute to the bill. But we've understood you. Senator Uroba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senator Thangwa has been one of the very supportive legislators about this bill for the very longest time, and actually the people of Kiambu should know that they have a champion of women's rights when it comes to provision of free sanitary towels. Mr. Speaker, I want to just summarize by painting a picture of what this bill, if it passes and it is implemented, I want to paint a picture of what it looks like, Mr. Speaker. Right now, money is allocated from the National Assembly. What happens? It is taken to either the Ministry of Gender or the Ministry of Education. This financial year, it is taken to the Ministry of Gender. The Ministry of Gender will send that money to the women reps. The women reps will procure through their offices and distribute those sanitary pads. Distribution on that level looks like this. You get a supplier who has gotten a tender. Sometimes they are told to purchase, let's say, 90,000 sanitary packets of sanitary pads. I don't know whether you have seen 90,000, what 90,000 looks like. It's not, it's very bulky. And then once they supply, they dump the whole thing at the women reps office. Sometimes the offices are not really equipped to be able to handle that kind of storage. And then because there's now this urgency to distribute, the woman rep will be stuck in machinani, ensuring that the 90,000 or 100,000 packets are distributed as fast as possible, because there's no storage, there's no framework, so they will go to the schools very quickly and distribute. That is the picture. That is what provision of free sanitary towels looks like now, Mr. Speaker. If this bill passes, and it is implemented. This is how that picture will look, Mr. Speaker. Number one, the National Intergovernmental Committee will sit down and say, these are the most vulnerable counties that are dealing with period poverty, period shaming, and that will be based on statistics that are given. So it will be driven by numbers, it will be driven by facts, and then they will allocate money depending on the number of wards, number of schools, so it will be driven by actual facts. Once that money is allocated to the county intergovernmental committee, Mr. Speaker, that county committee that is made up of representatives, including in the grassroots levels, all wards are represented in that committee. You have subject matter experts, you have menstruation champions, gender experts in that local committee, Mr. Speaker. What will then happen? They will sit down as a committee and they will say, now, before the money comes, they will have the pre-planning and say, now we are planning for this financial year. So what are we looking into? And then there will be a conversation about how much is actually going to be spent on advocacy and sensitization of menstrual hygiene. Then they will say how much is going to be spent on actual purchase of the menstrual hygiene product. Then they will also deliberate what type of menstrual hygiene product, Mr. Speaker, because in some areas there is a good uptake of reusable pads, Mr. Speaker. In some areas, they are dealing with disposable pads, Mr. Speaker. I was surprised to find out that in some counties like Kakamega, there is an uptake of menstrual hygiene caps, Mr. Speaker. So depending on the grassroots conversation, they will then decide as a committee that is independent from the national committee that this is what we are going to deal with, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, they will then go in and purchase and procure the items and go ahead to distribute, Mr. Speaker. That doesn't end there. This committee will sit at least 4 times in a year. They will then come back because there will be a monitoring and evaluation of the same, Mr. Speaker. When they come back, they will then prepare a report to say we distributed in these areas and that area, this was the retention of girls in school, this was what was happening in the prisons, this is what is going on. They will give a report on the monitoring and evaluation. That report will then be tabled back to the national, showing exactly how this money was spent, Mr. Speaker. This bill is proposing that all these activities will be happening on a dashboard, which anyone can go in and check that as of today, Bungoma County has received this much, they have spent this much on pads, this much on advocacy, and this is how it's going on, Mr. Speaker. So there is a checks and balance in the system, Mr. Speaker. There is accountability. There is involvement of the grassroots level. There is a buy-in in terms of the product that's going to be used, Mr. Speaker. It's not just a Minister of Gender sitting in Nairobi saying we have received 1 billion, we are now procuring through a committee in Nairobi, and then suddenly 90,000 packets of substandard, poor quality pads appear in Kisii County. That is what we are trying to get away from, Mr. Speaker. So this bill, once implemented, Mr. Speaker, will ensure that now we can start tracking the progress of ending period poverty in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I really want to thank all the contributors of this bill, and I want to say this. This bill, I'm very passionate about it, and I don't want it to appear that because I'm so passionate about it, it must pass, Mr. Speaker. I just want to tell my colleagues, both in the National Assembly and here in the Senate, that we must do this and we must pass this bill, not because it is Senator Oroba's bill, not because it's a woman, the women rep who are going to be doing ABCD in the faction, but because it is the right thing to do, Mr. Speaker. Senator Sifuna is, making some comments on the side, Mr. Speaker, and as I address you, I want to say that I probably sound crazy, Mr. Speaker, but as anyone has attested, it is the craziness that gets people to stop and think and listen, Mr. Speaker. So as you pass by my billboard every day, including the one that Tangwa has said, that we are all products of missed periods, Mr. Speaker, it is a fact. We are trying to end the shaming. We are trying to make sure that that conversation is normalized, Mr. Speaker. So I would urge my colleagues to pass this bill, not because they have daughters, not because they have wives, not because they sit in Senate, not because they like me or hate me, but because it is the right thing to do, Mr. Speaker. And in 2025, really, we should be in an era where no woman or girl should be trading her body or should be begging for assistance to buy sanitary pads or any menstrual hygiene products so that they can go about their business in their workplace, in school, or at home, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by saying, pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, I request that you put the posing of the question to be deferred to a later day of the voting. Thank you.
Very well. The putting of the question is deferred. Honorable Senators, at this point we're going to rearrange the order paper. And we will move to order number 13. Next order.
Order number 13, the Sports Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 33 of 2024, second reading.
Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Sports Amendment Bill 2024, Senate Bill number 33, be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, as a Senator of Nairobi, I do receive a lot of guests in my office. And there is a gentleman called Ronald Hainga, who is the secretary of the Nairobi County Boxing Association. The first time he came to my office, the Nairobi County Boxing Association had been invited for a tournament in Vihiga. I think this was sometimes in late 2023, Honorable Speaker. Now, a few months later, he came back to my office. The reason he came for the first time, Honorable Speaker, was to request for assistance for the Nairobi County Boxing Association to be able to meet the expenses of traveling to Vihiga for the entire team, accommodation, and so on and so forth in terms of upkeep of the Boxing Association whilst in Vihiga. Honorable Speaker, when he came back the second time, of course the first time I gave him what I thought was sufficient to sustain the team and what I had. He came back a second time, and this time round, Honorable Speaker, he wrote me a letter in July of 2024. And this time round, they were going for the National Boxing League, which was to take place in Mombasa from the 13th of August to 17th of August 2024. Mr. Speaker, he once again had come to my office to request for financial support for the team to be able to attend that National Boxing League. And I'm holding the letter that he sent to me, Honorable Speaker. He had given a proposed budget here for the Nairobi County Boxing team, including things like transport, accommodation for 4 nights and meals. And the total was about 117,000. This time around, I told him that I was not going to support the team because I could not fathom the specter of county-registered associations who go to represent our counties in regular leagues, having no support whatsoever from the county government. In fact, because ODM is a majority in the County Assembly of Nairobi, I called the majority leader, I called the chairman of budget, the Honorable Odalo, I called the majority whip, I called the speaker, the Honorable Ken Ngondi, and asked them if it was true that if you looked at the budget for Nairobi County, there is not a single line of funding that goes to registered sporting associations in the country. So I could not believe it. And following those discussions, Honorable Speaker, we agreed that something needed to be done. We agreed that because sports is important, because a lot of talent is nurtured through this registered sporting association, we needed to do something. This amendment is a very simple amendment, and I'm hoping that we will take the shortest possible time, because as senators in this House, all of us understand exactly what this problem is. If you speak to colleagues from other counties, you'll be surprised. I haven't met a senator who confirmed to me that their county governments actually allocate money to support registered sports associations in their counties. So, Honorable Speaker, what we did then, we agreed that we were going to bring an amendment to the Sports Act to make sure or to mandate counties to set aside a minimum amount of money every single financial year to support registered county sporting associations. And that is exactly what this bill seeks to do, Honorable Speaker. As you will remember, we had a sports fund that had been set up, Honorable Speaker, just by way of background. We had a sports fund under the Public Finance Management Act called a Sports Arts and Social Development Fund. In fact, Honorable Speaker, the aim of that fund was to support development of grassroots sporting infrastructure and setting up of academies in sporting academies in all our constituencies. Unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, immediately the powers that be started seeing how much money was coming to that fund. Amendments were made to the sports fund to now include, in terms of utilization of the money in that, or the proceeds of the fund, 60% of the social development, 60% of the fund to go to what they call social development, including universal health care. Honorable Speaker, and I believe that that is where the rain started beating us. Because immediately you divert funds meant for the arts and for sports for other things, and you know, you can look at the percentage that was allocated, 60%. It means that we have very, very insufficient funding for sporting activities. Now, Honorable Speaker, what we want to achieve with this bill is to be able to fund the basic activities of these sporting associations. It is very simple, Honorable Speaker. The Nairobi County Boxing Association cannot be walking with a begging bowl to the offices of senators and members of parliament and MCAs to ask for 117,000 Kenya shillings every time they have a tournament to attend. And because of the importance of sport, we have proposed in this particular bill to start with a very low figure. Honorable Speaker, if you look at clause, I believe it is clause 554C, you will see that the object of the fund is to provide funding to support registered county sporting associations, and that under 54B, there shall be paid into the county sports associations fund 1% of all monies paid into the county revenue fund. Honorable Speaker, that means 1%, and I'll give you the example of Nairobi. This house sends 20 billion Kenya shillings to Nairobi as equitable share. We want 1% of that amount to be set aside for this special fund to support sporting activities. It's not a lot of money, but it is also not nothing. And also, money that is received as, on-source revenue, because it is also supposed to be swept into the county revenue fund. And then, Honorable Speaker, if you see, we have also provided for loans, grants, or donations from the national government or international agencies for purposes of supporting county sports associations. Honorable Speaker, I can assure you that for as long as there is a legal framework and a fund which is ring-fenced to supporting the activities of registered sporting associations in the counties, we will have a lot of support, even from international organizations, because we have seen in the additional allocations bill, various international agencies who are interested in specific areas, be it health or slum upgrading, they will come through for these counties to be able to support those specific ones. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that we had occasion to undertake public participation on this particular bill in Nairobi. And I was very impressed by the turnout before the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare. At that particular time, it was chaired by the Honorable Julius Murgor. And we received a number of delegations, Honorable Speaker, some of whom we did not even know existed. Of course, there was the athletic stakeholders who came before that committee. We have the football stakeholders. Of course, the boxing stakeholders who are the original reason why we brought this amendment. Then there were stakeholders from Nairobi Skating Association, Judo, volleyball, parasports, a sport called chukball, which we didn't even know, Honorable Speaker, until that particular day. We even had somebody representing American football. So it was quite an eye-opener. And Honorable Speaker, I want to assure everyone who appeared before the committee that we took note of the contributions that they had presented before the committee, and we will be presenting certain amendments during the third reading of this bill so that we capture the intent and the spirit of this bill. You will see, Honorable Speaker, when you look at the clauses on the object of the fund, during publication we had included at 54CD, financing the development of sports facilities including stadia, gymnasiums, buildings and tracks. At the third reading, we will be striking out any reference to infrastructural development. Because, Honorable Speaker, as I have said, 1% of what goes to counties is not sufficient to do any serious sporting infrastructure like stadia. We want this to be clear that it is only for the operations or financing the operations of registered sporting associations. Honorable Speaker, we have provided for an administrator of the fund who we have designated as the CEC, responsible for sports in all the counties. And Honorable Speaker, they are the ones who are supposed to supervise and control administration of the fund. We have also provided for eligibility criteria. It is not for everyone, Honorable Speaker, because there was a worry, especially from the county governments, that if you set aside money, you will have all sorts of people claiming to be representative of various sports coming up and saying, oh, we are the ones who are supposed to secure funding. So you will see under clause 54E that for you to be eligible to apply for funding, you have to be first registered as a county sports association under the Sports Act. And there was a very interesting conversation during public participation hearings on this particular bill, that if you look at the Sports Act, it provides for registration of national and county sporting associations. But there is only one sports registrar, and it is a national office. So one of the proposals we'll be making is that we also need to devolve, because sports, if you look at the fourth schedule, Honorable Speaker, of the Constitution, sports is a county function. It's a devolved function. There is no reason why we have a sports registrar at the national level to deal with a devolved function. So we will be proposing, Honorable Speaker, that each county must have its own sports registrar, so that they register the county sporting associations there, and those are the only people who will be eligible for funding under the Act. Then, Honorable Speaker, you will be required as a registered sporting association in the county to have an annual work plan aligned to the strategic plan of the association, and then we will have other criteria as will be set by the CEC and the board. Honorable Speaker, it provides that every 30th of August of each year, the fund administrator, who is the CEC, will issue a budget circular for the fund to the eligible persons, indicating the ceilings for funding under sports and sports development, priority programs, projects, and activities to be funded in the financial year. Honorable Speaker, when you make an application, we have provided that you have to submit certain documents. Number one, you have to show us a certificate of registration, as I've said, issued under the Sports Act, and then an annual work plan aligned to the strategic plan of the association, and then a statutory declaration of the programs to be funded, and through other sources, details of the bank account and signatories, and so on and so forth. Honorable Speaker, every recipient of funding under this program or under this fund shall submit quarterly and annual progress reports of the programs, projects, activities funded by the fund, and also allow monitoring and evaluation of the programs, projects, and activities of the fund. If you don't utilize any amount of money that has been given to you in a particular financial year, you will be required to return the unutilized funds, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, we believe that, and we were told during public participation, that we need to strengthen some of the monitoring and evaluation criteria that we have provided for under the Act. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we want to, I don't want to go further than that. As I said, it's a straightforward amendment, and we are hoping that we can convince members, because I know many members here are very passionate about sport. I know they recognize the potential for sport. I know they recognize the potential for sport not only as an income earner for our young people in the estates, in the villages, but also as an important pastime, Honorable Speaker, to be able to engage young people and dissuade them from engaging in what would otherwise be bad behavior. I have attended tournaments here, Honorable Speaker. I've attended a football tournament in Kamkunji. I saw the talent, but if you saw the state of the pitch there, Honorable Speaker, if these kids were provided with sufficient facilities, I think they would go far. And many of us have seen the sort of opportunities that are there for people who have talent in the arts or even in sports to lift their families, their communities out of poverty. I think you remember the excitement, Honorable Speaker, of the first person to ever play in the Premier League. When Wanyama came to Tottenham, Honorable Speaker, we were all very excited. And if you look at the sort of money that is in play in those particular circumstances, I can tell you, Honorable Speaker, it's an opportunity that we are sitting on as a country. I had the occasion also to attend a boxing match one time here. There was a Tanzanian who used to be very loud-mouthed, and he was fighting one of our local boys here. And it was a proper spectacle. If you went to KICC on that night, Honorable Speaker, you found the whole place was totally full of boxing fans. People might not see the potential for these things, but Honorable Speaker, I believe that we can do something so that this talent machinani does not go to waste. And we give them some dignity. They cannot all the time be moving around with begging bowls, and yet we have a responsibility to support them. And most importantly, Honorable Speaker, they are also taxpayers. You cannot decide where you're going to spend our taxes to the exclusion of other people. So whereas the counties have responsibility to build or develop sporting facilities, and many of them are struggling to do it, here in Nairobi we are struggling with City Stadium, we are struggling with Joseph Kang'ethe grounds, we are struggling with Kiumbuini. It's a mess. But we are hoping that at least for the associations, these people would not mind. If you go to Woodley, Honorable Speaker, they told me that they don't care the nature of the surface they are playing on. They just wanted the county government to open this facility so that they can be able to use it, but they need support just to buy basic facilities, to be able to pay referees, to be able to do the basic things that they are required to do to be able to compete. So with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move, and I request that Senator Osotsi, the Senator for Vihiga, seconds the bill. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will start by thanking Senator Sifuna, the Senator of Nairobi, for coming up with this very, very progressive piece of legislation, the Sports Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Sifuna is seeking to amend the Sports Act so that we can have a county sports association fund where 1% of the county revenue fund will be put into this fund, and also this fund will also receive loans and grants and donations from other people. Mr. Speaker, this is a very progressive piece of legislation which we should all support, because sports is a very, very important industry globally, and sports now is one of the highest paying industry in the world. You have seen how much money the sports people earn. For example, Mr. Speaker, in football, you've heard people talking about billions of dollars to move a player from one club to another. This, if it happens in a large scale, affecting many of our youth, then that would be one of the ways of actually raising money for this country. And we know countries which have developed largely because of investment in sports. So this is a very welcome amendment, and as he rightly said, many counties do not have a sports fund. I think it's only my county, Vihiga County, that has a sports fund, but which is largely underfunded. They give them less than 10 million shillings a year, Mr. Speaker. What can that do? Can do very little work. So if we are going to ensure that counties take at least 1% of their revenue to this fund, I think we'll begin to see improvement. But I want to suggest to my good friend Sifuna to maybe consider amending this bill or on this section that deals with how the fund will be funded, to include monies from the national government through shareable revenue. And Mr. Speaker, in my communication, I'll be able to demonstrate why this is possible, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we talk about the sports fund, I did quite a lot of research around this area. When I was in the National Assembly, I came up with this idea of having sports academies in every constituency in Kenya, 290 constituencies. And I came up with a motion that was passed by the House. And during that process of research, I came across a lot of information which I would like to share with the members today. Mr. Speaker, the idea of a sports fund, if you go back to history, was one of those proposals that emanated from during the Grand Coalition government, which remains as the only government that many Kenyans feel worked for them in the history of this country. The Grand Coalition had Vision 2030, which had several pillars, and one of the pillars was the social pillar. And in this social pillar, they talked about youth and sports. Mr. Speaker, the Kibaki regime came up with the Sports Act. And in the Sports Act, they came up with a raft of issues. One, which was having a National Academy of Sports and having sports academies in all counties. Mr. Speaker, they went ahead and came up with a funding mechanism. And one of the funding mechanisms was to have a national sports fund which was going to receive its funding from lotteries, betting, and other sources. And this act of parliament, that is the Sports Act 2013, was passed in February 2013, just a few months before Kibaki left power. And the betting companies were being deducted money. It went into this fund. When the new regime of Uhuru Kenyatta came to power, they found idle money. That time it was around 10 billion shillings. And they started salvating at this money. Instead of investing this money in sports, Uhuru decided, his government decided to repeal the Sports Act by removing the entire chapter on the National Sports Fund. He removed the entire chapter in the National Sports Fund and he created something else called the Sports Art and Social Development Fund through a regulation, through public finance regulation. And Mr. Speaker, you will be shocked to hear how the government of Uhuru proposed to allocate this money. In the regulations, that is the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund regulation, they propose that 60% of the money will go to universal health care. Money that is meant for sports, Mr. Speaker. They further proposed that 20% will go to promotion and development of art. They further proposed that 5% will go to strategic intervention whose expenditure will be subject to approval by the cabinet, not even parliament. And strangely and annoyingly, they propose that only 5% of that money will go to promotion and development of sports. Mr. Speaker, if there is a fund that this House must investigate, it is this fund. Because even when they moved to the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, the National Sports Fund was left hanging, and they operated for a few months. So we had now two funds, the Social, Arts and Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, and then we had the National Sports Fund. Mr. Speaker, the idea behind this fund, the initial idea by the Kibaki government, was to promote sports, to promote our young people. But when Uhuru saw free money, he decided that this money should go to universal health care. Mr. Speaker, now that we have SHA and SHIF, SHIF and SHA, why do we need to continue taking 60% of this money to universal health care? This money should be taken back to sports. Mr. Speaker, if this money was put in the sports, we will be having at least 10 international stadia in this country because of the huge amount of money that has come in here. Mr. Speaker, we will be having academies across the country. Mr. Speaker, as I said, I am the one who originated the Sports Academy motion in the National Assembly. And I'm happy the national government has picked it up. But Mr. Speaker, they have been talking about this for the last 7 years. And even in my county, they came to a place called Gisambai Ward and set up, launched with a lot of pomp, the Joe Kadenge Sports Academy. Mr. Speaker, 2 years after that launch, nothing is happening there. And yet this fund has money, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have serious clubs in this country, Gor Mahia, AFC, and the other clubs which are in the Premier League. They are struggling. And yet we have the money that comes in here, going to some strange things like promotion of arts, which we never see, going into universal health care. Mr. Speaker, I would propose to the Honorable Sifuna that this money that is coming into this fund, this money should also be shared with counties. Because, Mr. Speaker, sports is a shared function between the national government and the county government. Because the county government deals with sports activities and facilities, and the national government deals with the promotion of sports. So if that is the case, and they are receiving money through taxation in this fund, can that money also go to support our counties in terms of sports, rather than supporting universal health care, and yet our people are still also being taxed on social health insurance fund. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this bill is very timely, and it is a bill that we should all support so that we can grow sports in our counties, so that we can keep our youth very busy, so that we can also make sports an important economic activity for this country. Mr. Speaker, other countries which have progressed in sports have this fund. And they are using that money to develop sports, to develop sports academies, to develop sports stadiums. But in Kenya, when we saw money, good money in this fund, we decided to divert it to other things that are not relevant to sports, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would say that I would encourage the members to fully support this bill, and also encourage the sports committee to move in with speed and do an inquiry around this fund. What does it do? How many associations have benefited? How many sportsmen have benefited? How many groups have benefited from this kind of thing, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, if we do this, we'll be saving this country and we'll be promoting the legacy of the late President Mwai Kibaki, who remains as the only president who worked for this country, Mr. Speaker, who had a vision for this country. By even coming up with a fund like this, which the successive leadership has mutilated the good vision that he had to promote sports in this country by coming up with this kind of legislation and by ensuring that sports remained a key social pillar under the Vision 2030. Mr. Speaker, for those remarks, I want to support and encourage other members to also support this very progressive proposal to amend the Sports Act, and also encourage that maybe we should consider returning back the provisions for this fund back to the Sports Act, where it was, and not to a regulation which they keep on changing. And Mr. Speaker, even that regulation requires the Committee of Delegated Legislation to look at it, because you cannot have a regulation on sports that is domiciled in Treasury and not the Ministry of Sports. The administrator of the fund is the PS Treasury. So what does the PS for sports do, Mr. Speaker? The one who is supposed to be managing sports, when the money that is supposed to be financing sports is held elsewhere in Treasury. So I think there is a lot of gaps in those regulations, and I think the delegated legislation will do us a favor to conduct an inquiry around this, as the Sports Committee also does an inquiry to determine how this fund is run, how this fund is administered, and how beneficiaries of this fund have benefited and how much. Mr. Speaker, I support. Sorry, I second.
Thank you, Senator. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Sports Amendments Bill, Senate Bills number 33 of 2024, be now read a second time. At this point, we'll allow senators to make contributions, starting with Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very responsive piece of legislation. And I know Sifuna referred to it as a simple amendment, but the effects that this amendment is going to have in the sports fraternity in the country is immense. And since I came to this House, I don't think I have loved a legislation more than this one, a legislative proposal. And as Sifuna tabled, I was nodding the whole time, not only in agreement, but because I can relate. Mr. Speaker, if you look at my phone, the number of WhatsApp groups that I am in from grassroots football in Nairobi, from Kabiria FC in Dagoretti, Bokongo from Kayole, Kibra United, aka Har Nation from Kibra, Kibagare slums, etc., etc. And what we do in those groups every often is raise funds. I even know offhand, referees are 5,000, securities 3,000, because we have done this from time since I came in contact with Nairobi residents, Mr. Speaker. And so this proposal, I don't think anybody is going to be opposed to it. We must all support it because we know the effects football and other sports have to our young people. Osoti has mentioned being a source of livelihood, and not just a source of livelihood, but of wealth. Something else, Sifuna, I don't know if I haven't heard you mention the accountability and how these funds will be managed to ensure that they don't go to the wrong hands. Because we know from history how funds in this country end up benefiting the wrong people. This is a fantastic piece of law, and we cannot afford to have other people benefit at the expense of our grassroots teams. We must also look into the matter of, speaking matters football, we must bring better management to our national team. The other day, Sifuna and I were watching a regional match between Kenya and, was it Burkina Faso? At Nyayo Stadium. And what did I say? And I remember, Gabon, it was Gabon. And I remember among the mamas in the crowd that was watching is the fact that the boys who represent us in the national team are not necessarily the best players we have in this country. And once we have this kind of funding, we'll end up getting, and more stars will emerge, and we even have a much better football team, Harambee Stars. And with those few remarks, I want to support, and if I can support again, I want to support again. Thank you.
Senator Eddie Okech.
Mr. Speaker, I continue to be very proud to be a member of the ODM party because my SG, Senator Sifuna, has constantly shown a lot of acumen in terms of serious contribution to this House, not only by a dent of vision in terms of contributing to ideas brought to this House by a number of people, but also by leading in some of the legislations that have got a lot of impact in our society today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, anything that touches sports might be literally, sometimes trivialized into what has been happening in this country, which is where sports has got no proper infrastructure in terms of governance of sports. We have a few organizations here and there that look at a number of popular sports. But, Mr. Speaker, when you think about the case for funding, and in some cases even the case for business case in sporting activity, Mr. Speaker, this has been elusive to our country. To the extent that, Mr. Speaker, it's very difficult to think about even things like encouraging equitable access by gender. There are sports that in this country, women have struggled to be able to make sense of, yet when you go to the world stage, Mr. Speaker, you'll find that women are thriving in this sport in other countries to the extent that they are in and out of themselves business cases, Mr. Speaker. Sporting in this country, Mr. Speaker, has by large been left to community programs, and sometimes what we popularly know as clubs. Mr. Speaker, if you came from a small community like mine in Migori County, you will find clubs in Ombo, Kowiti, where a number of volunteers will come, about 21 of them or 22 of them, and chase a ball that they call football the entire time, and then organize themselves into a competition. Their neighbors in Nyatike will do the same. If you go to Kuria West, you'll find the same people calling themselves clubs and then running around and organizing football. If you go to Rongo, it is the same. If you go to Suna East, Suna West, it is the same. So that, Mr. Speaker, the idea of locally organized movement around sports is what then contributes to the national vision of sporting in this country. By large, Mr. Speaker, you will see that even when Harambee Stars is going to play football outside the country. Indeed, the young men and women who play in our starlet teams and as well as the male Harambee Stars team, Mr. Speaker, are people who have struggled from these locally organized organizations to be able to make sense of sports. So this is the first time, Mr. Speaker, that Senator Sifuna is doing a serious attempt to make sure that apart from the anecdotal investment that we have seen here and there in the Ministry of Sport, trying to do things like Talanta Ella, trying to do things like Sports Academy here and there, trying to empower organizations like FKF. Mr. Speaker, we are seeing a bill that recognizes the acumen of our society, the DNA of our organization in sport, that appreciates that sports is organized in local communities, and from the communities sometimes to our local schools, and from our local schools sometimes to the varsity level that we need to invest in. And Senator Sifuna is proposing that the money that we are sending to counties, can we just save 1% as a good start of that money to make sure that we can be able to invest in making proper infrastructure for sports in our country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is something that I strongly support, and I hope that, Mr. Speaker, it can bring us even to bigger conversations. The party leader who leads the party that I believe is the biggest party in the Southern Sahara and north of Limpopo, the ODM party, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Sifuna will share with you that Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has been campaigning on how can we rethink the issue of devolution. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, when we were talking about period poverty in this country, Mr. Speaker, you saw that the manifest of that problem happens in our schools. And now also when you look at where sport is being nurtured at an early age, where you can harass talent, you find that again, it manifests in our schools. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has argued a case that had the fathers of devolution see it fit, they could have actually allowed education to be devolved. Because this could have been the place where we can be able to invest more in sporting. That's where we can be able to arrest more talents and bring to the national theater of sporting, Mr. Speaker. But that conversation, I will not bring it now. My comment today, Mr. Speaker, would be one.
Senator Chimera, what is
my
your point
comment
of
would
order?
be one. And that comment, Mr. Speaker...
Senator Chimera.
Mr. Speaker, I rise under Standing Order 41, Mr. Speaker, on quorum during the proceedings of the Senate, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I notice we are not many senators, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, please protect me, Mr. Speaker.
You're very well, Senator Chimera.
Can the Speaker make his
Clerk,
ruling?
please confirm quorum. Sergeant at Arms, please ring the bell for 10 minutes. Sergeant at Arms. May I stop? Honorable Senators, having failed to attain quorum at the expiry of 10 minutes, the Senate stands adjourned pursuant to Standing Order 41-2A until tomorrow, Thursday, 17th April 2025 at 2:30 p.m.